Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 851. Are your lips bleeding? After dinner, Lin Feng took out his cell phone and checked the time. It was already past 8 o'clock in the evening. It was still early, so Lin Feng planned to take Zhang Yuxi out for a ride. Enjoy this extremely rare time alone. After paying the bill, the two walked out the door. At this time, the waiter in charge of parking at the door had already driven Lin Feng's Ferrari to the door of the restaurant. Seeing Lin Feng coming out, the waiter respectfully handed over the car keys. Boom! The sound of the Ferrari engine roared. With the restaurant waiter's welcome next time, it disappeared into the night. Lin Feng rolled down the car window, played soothing music in the car, slowed down, and the car slowly drove on the winding mountain road of Qingchang Mountain. The night wind brushed across his cheeks, as if blowing away all the tiredness, and Zhang Yuxi also closed his eyes, emptied himself, and let all the gloom in his heart drift away with the wind. Lin Feng turned his head and looked at Zhang Yuxi's appearance, with a happy smile on his face. The breeze blew, and Zhang Yuxi's beautiful hair fluttered slightly. Her slender eyebrows, a pair of charming eyes, a straight nose, slightly flushed cheeks, delicate lips, a white face as white as snow, crystal like jade, and beautiful skin like jade. She has a beautiful figure and is gentle and graceful. Zhang Yuxi is peerless and independent at the foot of Qingchang Mountain. The eyebrows on Zhang Yuxi's eyes trembled a few times, and her eyes slowly opened. A sweet smile appeared on her face, as if she thought of something happy. Squeak! Lin Feng slowly parked the car at a tourist attraction on Qingchang Mountain. After Lin Feng got out of the car, he went around to help Zhang Yuxi open the door, and got out of the car holding her hand. There are still many people walking on Qingchang Mountain at night. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two of them strolled on the small road paved with bluestone slabs. Listening to the chirping of insects and birds, it was like returning to ancient times. A feeling of tranquility and comfort filled the hearts of the two. Yuxi! Lin Feng called softly. Yes. Zhang Yuxi looked up at Lin Feng and said with some doubt. I'll take you to a good place, a place that basically no one knows about. Lin Feng said mysteriously. After that, he took Zhang Yuxi's hand, turned in a direction, and walked to the place where there were no street lights. Zhang Yuxi looked at the gradually darkening place in the distance, and her heart was a little hairy, but she felt a warmth from her palm, and she was not so scared. Fortunately, the moon was brighter tonight, and the bright moonlight fell on the bluestone road, and she could still vaguely see the surroundings. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two walked for a few minutes. After passing through a small bamboo forest, Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up. In front of her was a large green lawn covered with flowers of various colors. Under the white moonlight, countless butterflies were flying. In an instant, Zhang Yuxi seemed to have come to fairyland. Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth with her hand and was amazed by the scene in front of her. Lin Feng held her hand and stepped onto this green ocean. When he stepped on it, the soft grass sank deeply, making people feel like they were stepping on an expensive silk carpet. It felt very comfortable. Zhang Yuxi looked at the green world in front of her curiously. This lawn did not seem to be artificially formed, but grew naturally. When the two walked to the middle of the lawn, a large number of butterflies were startled. Butterflies of various colors fluttered around them. If someone saw this scene, they would definitely be amazed. The two, one with a stunning and beautiful face, and the other with a resolute and handsome face, were like elves from the elf world, not eating fireworks. Lin Feng pulled Zhang Yuxi and lay down gently. The butterflies dancing around them, and all kinds of flowers surrounded the two, making them more like characters from a fairy tale. The two looked up at the sky. The moon tonight was very round, and the sky was full of stars. It was a rare good weather. The two enjoyed the quietness of this moment. After a long time, Lin Feng, how did you know this place? Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng beside her with some doubts. Zhang Yuxi saw that no one seemed to have been here before, and the surrounding environment was well protected and had not been damaged. Lin Feng stretched out his arms straight, gently lifted Zhang Yuxi's head, and let her rest on his arms to feel more comfortable. After a while, he whispered back, "This is what I found by chance when I often came to Qingchang Mountain alone at night in my previous life. Do you believe it? Zhang Yuxi was speechless. I said I believe it, do you believe it? Zhang Yuxi said. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng turned his head to look at her cute appearance, bent his arms, and Zhang Yuxi fell into his arms. Looking at Zhang Yuxi's somewhat flustered appearance, Lin Feng kissed her gently. Well, after a long time, the two separated. Zhang Yuxi's little face was flushed, and Lin Feng gently embraced her in his arms, closed his eyes, and enjoyed this moment of the world of two people. When the two went down the mountain, it was already 10:30 in the evening. Tourists on the mountain began to go down the mountain one after another. After Lin Feng got the car, he drove Zhang Yuxi back to the gate of the community. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I'll come to pick you up. Go up and rest early. Lin Feng waved to Zhang Yuxi standing at the gate of the community and said gently. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded happily. Then he turned and walked towards his home. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's disappearing figure for a while, smiled, started the car, turned around and left. Lin Feng, who was driving the car, recalled the scene just now and couldn't help licking his lips. A hint of happiness appeared at the corner of his mouth. Soon he returned to his community. After Lin Feng parked the car, he went upstairs. Click. Lin Feng opened the door and walked in. His father and mother were watching TV on the sofa at the moment. Zhou Qilin looked back and saw Lin Feng coming back, so she said, Son, you're back. Yes, Mom, I'm back. Lin Feng replied. Lin Feng put down his school bag and said to Lin Deshan, Dad, aren't you busy tonight? You have time to watch TV. Lin Deshan rolled his eyes at him. Can't I watch TV? Oh, okay, you decide. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Huh? Son, is there something red on your lips? Is it bleeding? Zhou Qilin stared at Lin Feng's lips and said in confusion. Oh, Mom, maybe I ate a few strawberries just now and accidentally got it on there, it's okay. Lin Feng said embarrassedly. Strawberries? Why didn't you bring some back when you bought strawberries? Lin Deshan looked at Lin Feng and said, his eyes were meaningful. Oh, I finished eating, shared with my classmates, no more. Lin Feng said nonsense seriously. Dad, Mom, I'm going back to the room to put my things, and then I'm going to take a shower. I'm a little tired today. After saying that, Lin Feng picked up his school bag and slipped back to his room. Huh? Lin Feng closed the door and breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at himself in the mirror in the room, and sure enough, there was some residue on the corner of his mouth, Zhang Yuxi's lipstick. Fortunately, I was smart and said it was from eating strawberries. But my dad's meaningful look seemed to reveal something. Forget it, I won't admit it anyway. Chapter 852 3 Magical Treasures of Love. There was no conversation that night. The next day, when Lin Feng woke up, it was already 8:30 in the morning. This was the first time that Lin Feng had slept in since his rebirth. Maybe it was because of what Zhang Yuxi said to him last night. Or maybe it was because he got what he wanted and kissed Zhang Yuxi in the secret base. In short, Lin Feng slept more relaxed than ever before last night, and slept very soundly. Lin Feng hurriedly got up and washed up. He and Zhang Yuxi had agreed to pick her up at 9 o'clock. So Lin Feng finished washing up, secretly took his father's mousse, and made a handsome hairstyle in front of the mirror. Lin Feng looked in the mirror, and the man in the mirror was so handsome. Perfect. Lin Feng held a piece of bread in his mouth. He took out the car keys from his bag and hurried out. Squeak. He ran all the way. Fortunately, he was lucky today and the road was smooth. 10 minutes later, Lin Feng parked the car steadily at the gate of Zhang Yuxi's community. As soon as Lin Feng stopped the car, he saw Zhang Yuxi standing next to the gate of the community in a daze, wondering what she was thinking. Lin Feng was about to call her. Zhang Yuxi suddenly came back to her senses, saw Lin Feng, and a sweet smile suddenly bloomed on her face. Zhang Yuxi jogged and reached the front of the car in a few steps. Lin Feng got out of the car and looked at the anxious silly girl, and felt funny. Wife, are you so anxious? If I don't come, will you become a husband-waiting stone? Lin Feng scratched Zhang Yuxi's nose and joked. Hey, how can I do that? If you say it again, I will go back. Humph. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Haha, my wife is so cute even when she is angry. My husband really loves me so much? Lin Feng said with a sly tone. Humph, I won't pay attention to you. After saying that, Zhang Yuxi stomped her feet, opened the passenger door and got in. Lin Feng quickly opened the door and got in. He was about to reach out to help Zhang Yuxi fasten her seat belt, but Zhang Yuxi pushed his hand away. HMPH, I don't need your help, I can do it myself. Zhang Yuxi pursed her lips and snorted. Oh, is this girl really angry? Lin Feng muttered to himself. Well, now is the time to use the little love skills I learned from watching Douyin in my previous life. What should I do if my girlfriend is angry? There are 3 magic weapons for men in love: being coquettish, being cute, and swiping the card. Among them, men's coquetry is the most deadly. Yuxi? Wife? Baby? Wife? Don't be angry, okay? I didn't mean to make you angry. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said coquettishly, his voice was so coquettish. Pudgy. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing because of Lin Feng's coquettish look. Hateful. So corny. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. He. Lin Feng smiled and held Zhang Yuxi's hand. Wen Rao said, okay, don't be angry, okay? How can you be angry when your wife is so cute, right? HMPH, you're smart, I forgive you. Look, isn't that enough? Men are most deadly when they act like spoiled brats. The little love tricks taught on the internet in the last life are really useful. They didn't lie to me. Lin Feng thought to himself. Boom. Lin Feng started the car, and the roar of the Ferrari 488 engine roared up. Lin Feng, where are we going today? Zhang Yuxi couldn't help asking. Today I'll take you to a fun place. Well, you will definitely like it. Lin Feng said mysteriously. Oh. Zhang Yuxi looked expectant. The fairyland-like scene on Qingchang Mountain last night really shocked her. I wonder what kind of surprise Lin Feng will bring her today? Soon the car arrived at the destination, and Lin Feng slowly stopped the car. It's an amusement park. Zhang Yuxi said happily and excitedly. Zhang Yuxi had been to the amusement park with her parents a few times when she was a child. After she grew up a little, she had been wandering between various cram schools. She had been studying all the time. Zhang Yuxi had not been to the amusement park for many years. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's somewhat excited look and knew that he had chosen the right place. He smiled, parked the car, and the two got out of the car. Zhang Yuxi looked at the gate of the amusement park with an uncontrollable smile on her face. Lin Feng smiled, took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked into the amusement park. Lin Feng, I want to play this, and that carousel, I want to. After Zhang Yuxi entered the amusement park, she saw the dazzling projects in front of her, her eyes lit up, and she said excitedly. Lin Feng looked at her happy look like a child, and a gentle smile appeared on his face. Okay, let's play all of these. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's little head, his eyes full of pampering. Soon Lin Feng bought a bunch of tickets. Anyway, Lin Feng is not short of money now, as long as Zhang Yuxi is happy, it's fine. Zhang Yuxi looked at the pile of tickets in Lin Feng's hand, and her face was full of excitement. Lin Feng, hurry up. Zhang Yuxi pulled Lin Feng to the carousel on the other side, and the two handed in the tickets and entered. The music sounded, and the carousel started to move. Zhang Yuxi opened her arms, closed her eyes, and imagined herself riding a horse in the prairie. The trembling eyebrows on her eyes could not hide Zhang Yuxi's happiness. Zhang Yuxi wore a white dress today, riding on a white wooden horse, like a princess riding a white horse, slowly coming towards Lin Feng. When Lin Feng saw the scene in front of him, a sentence suddenly flashed in his mind. Your Highness, I am late. Just as Lin Feng was thinking about it, Zhang Yuxi slowly opened her eyes, she turned her head to look at Lin Feng, and smiled sweetly. Lin Feng was in a good mood and took out his mobile phone to record the scene in front of him forever. Zhang Yuxi stretched out her hand and held Lin Feng's, feeling full of happiness. The music stopped, and after the two of them came out of the carousel, Lin Feng deliberately took Zhang Yuxi to the big pendulum project. Ah! Help! Terrifying screams kept coming. Zhang Yuxi looked at the scene in front of her, feeling a little scared, and her little face showed a terrified expression. She pulled Lin Feng's arm and said weakly, Lin Feng, how about we not play this? There was a slight tremor in her voice. How, silly girl, are you scared? Who pointed at this and said he wanted to play? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a playful look and joked. Hate it. Who said I was scared? Play it. Humph. Zhang Yuxi said unconvincedly. She thought, wait a minute, at worst I'll keep my eyes closed. Do you really want to play? You can't regret it after you go in. Lin Feng said seriously. Humph. Play. Zhang Yuxi gritted her teeth and snorted. Okay, let's go. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and said with a smile. Chapter 853 You Are My Whole World. After arriving at the big pendulum, the staff helped them take safety measures. The machine was about to start, and Zhang Yuxi suddenly became a little nervous. Her lips trembled and she said to Lin Feng, let's not play anymore. Lin Feng looked at her frightened look and held her hand tightly. Don't be afraid, honey. I'm here, it's okay, I have everything. Lin Feng encouraged Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi felt a warmth from her palm, and the nervousness and fear in her heart were reduced a little. She looked at Lin Feng's gentle look, and her courage seemed to grow. Where Lin Feng was, it seemed that everything became less scary. What if this suddenly fell? Would dying with Lin Feng be considered a suicide for love? Just when Zhang Yuxi was thinking about it, the big pendulum started. Everyone slowly rose, rising higher and higher, and finally scattered and swung out. Fortunately, this kind of big pendulum has seats for couples. Zhang Yuxi held Lin Feng's hand tightly, closed her eyes, and her tight and beautiful little face was a little pale at this moment. At the end, the pendulum dropped rapidly, and Zhang Yuxi couldn't help but scream. She grabbed Lin Feng's hand tightly. About 2 minutes later, the pendulum slowly dropped and stopped. Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi, whose legs were shaking, to walk down. Wife, are you okay? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's pale face and asked with concern. Huh? Zhang Yuxi slowly exhaled. She said with a trembling voice and some excitement. Lin Feng, it feels so good. Oh. Lin Feng was a little speechless. I thought this girl would be scared and say she would never dare to do it again. Lin Feng, I was very scared at first, but when I thought you were by my side, I was not so afraid of you, but I still couldn't help screaming. Zhang Yuxi said with a little excitement. Will you dare to play in the future? Lin Feng asked with a smile. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded vigorously and said seriously. Next, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to play all the way. Zhang Yuxi has been enjoying it all the time, as if she is tireless. Lin Feng, look. Zhang Yuxi said excitedly, pointing to a small stall selling sugar figurines not far away. Seeing her excited face, Lin Feng took her all the way over. Zhang Yuxi stood in front of the stall, looking at it with curiosity, thinking it was so magical. Little beauty, do you want to make a sugar figurine? The boss looked up at Zhang Yuxi and said enthusiastically. Zhang Yuxi turned her head to look at Lin Feng, looking pitiful. Is it okay? Lin Feng looked at her like this and felt funny in his heart. She obviously wanted it, but she was afraid that he would say she was childish. Haha. Boss, make one for the two of us. Lin Feng said to the boss. When Zhang Yuxi heard what Lin Feng said, a smile appeared on her face instantly. Okay, wait a minute. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand, gently pinched her nose with his right hand, with a gentle face. Soon, the sugar figurine kept changing in the boss's hand, and then slowly took shape, and two smaller versions of Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi appeared. Zhang Yuxi looked at the lifelike sugar figurines, and a hint of shyness appeared on her face. Because the candy man in the boss's hand looked exactly like the one when Lin Feng was holding Zhang Yuxi's nose. Lin Feng looked at the two candy men and thought they looked very similar, even their expressions were very similar. After Lin Feng paid, Zhang Yuxi took the candy man in her hand and left happily. Zhang Yuxi looked at the candy man in her hand and liked it more and more. She was very satisfied and couldn't bear to eat it. Wife, what are you looking at? Can't bear to eat it. If you don't eat it, it will melt later. Lin Feng said with a straight face. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at him. You are just a big pig's hoof, not romantic at all, Lin Feng. I'm just telling the truth. Lin Feng muttered in his heart. Zhang Yuxi held the candy man in her hand and couldn't bear to eat it until the candy man began to melt. Zhang Yuxi felt a little sad and reluctant. Lin Feng saw her reluctance, so he looked at Zhang Yuxi with a gentle face and said, Silly girl, don't be sad, the real person is right next to you, why bother to look at that candy man? After a pause, he continued. Besides, the sugar man should be eaten, because in this way, you can be as sweet as sugar to my heart. Crack. After saying that, Lin Feng took the sugar man in Zhang Yuxi's hand and took a bite. Ah. You actually bit off my head in one bite, you. I want to bite your head too. Humph. Zhang Yuxi was convinced by Lin Feng's words. Yes, no matter how beautiful the sugar man is, it will melt, but the real Lin Feng will not. Thinking of this, Zhang Yuxi was no longer sad. Wife, what you said is ambiguous. Which head of mine do you want to bite? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a playful face. What? Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a puzzled look, as if she didn't understand what he was saying at all. Alice, this silly woman is really too naive. Lin Feng sighed a little. No, I have to teach her well, otherwise I will always lack some fun in the boudoir when I am alone in the future, right? Lin Feng thought shamelessly in his heart. So, Lin Feng possessed Zhang Yuxi's ear and whispered a few words. Zhang Yuxi's face instantly turned red to the root of her neck. Lin Feng. You are so annoying. Humph. Zhang Yuxi punched Lin Feng's chest a few times and said coquettishly. Lin Feng laughed, with a hint of evil smile on his face. Soon, time passed while the two of them were playing and fighting. In a blink of an eye, the sky began to darken. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were ready to finish the last project and end today's trip to the amusement park. The last project was of course the Ferris wheel. As for why it was put last? That's because the Ferris wheel feels good only when you ride it at night. If you ride it during the day, you will be exposed to the sun and look at nothing. The two quickly came to the bottom of the Ferris wheel. After checking the tickets, the staff let the two in. They randomly chose a couple's cabin and sat there waiting for the Ferris wheel to open. In a short while, the Ferris wheel slowly moved. Looking at the Ferris wheel rising higher and higher, Zhang Yuxi was excited. The two stood shoulder to shoulder in front of the transparent glass window, looking at the smaller and smaller buildings below, and the pedestrians as small as ants, and felt it was magical. Zhang Yuxi looked up at the sky. The night was beautiful tonight, and the stars seemed to be within reach. Lin Feng. Humans are so insignificant in front of the universe. Zhang Yuxi suddenly spoke in a low voice, sighing. Lin Feng gently embraced her in his arms and said softly. Silly girl, what are you thinking about? The universe is indeed full of unknowns. Humans cannot see its full picture. This is not something we can change. I don't care whether it is the universe or the world. As long as you are by my side, it is enough. You are my whole world, Yuxi. Chapter 854 Amazing Singing Voice. Looking at the beautiful scenery outside the window, the two of them hugged each other tightly in the Ferris wheel. In the night sky, the stars became the witness of their love. Ding. Congratulations to the host for getting the first place in the science subject of the Magic City Senior High School Unified Examination with a full score of 750. Obtain the ability of 3-line love letter. Note 1. 3-line love letter means that the lyrics, music, and singing are written by the same person. 3-line love letter can make the host instantly have the ability of a top singer-songwriter, and the ability is permanent. Note 2. After obtaining the 3-line love letter ability, the host can use any song that did not appear in the previous life and this period, and after being adjusted by the system causal law, there will be no collision of songs, and the copyright of all songs belongs to the host, the moment the system sounded. Lin Feng's mind instantly had a lot of knowledge about lyrics, composition, and singing skills, as if they were born, without any sense of awkwardness. Well, it seems that the results are out. The system has judged that I have a full score of 750, not bad, and my efforts in the past 2 months are not in vain. Lin Feng thought silently in his heart. Not bad. If other people knew that Lin Feng was so pretentious, they would definitely want to kill people. Well, I got the skill of flirting with girls. But it's really useless for me. I can only flirt with Zhang Yuxi. As for other girls? Haha, they are not worthy. Lin Feng was thinking wildly in his mind. Soon, the Ferris wheel slowly stopped. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi down and planned to eat something. Today, except for some special snacks at noon, they haven't eaten staple food yet. They are tired after playing all day. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two walked through the crowded crowd and walked towards the parking lot. After the two got on the car, Lin Feng drove all the way to a Chinese restaurant in the square. After ordering some dishes casually, the two began to eat. While eating and chatting, Zhang Yuxi laughed like a silver bell from time to time, which made others envious. After the two finished dinner, they planned to stroll around the square and digest their food. As the saying goes, walking 100 steps after a meal will make you live to 99. The two held hands and strolled around the square casually. Lin Feng was suddenly attracted by the singing voice coming from afar. He had just obtained the 3 love letter singer ability, but he could tell that this person's singing skills were pretty good. Although not as good as professional singers, he had a good voice and could become a singer of some size with a little training. Thinking of this, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and went to the place where the singing voice came from. Following the singing voice, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi soon came to the source of the singing voice. They saw a group of people gathered at the edge of the square, and the singing voice came from the crowd. Lin Feng, this person sings pretty well. Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng casually while listening to the song. Haha, this singing is okay, but not as good as your husband's singing. Lin Feng said with a smile. Don't come on, you haven't sung for me, Zhang Yuxi snorted. My wife wants to listen, how dare I not? Wait a minute, my husband is about to make a fool of himself. After saying this, Lin Feng walked through the crowd and came to the boy who had finished singing a song and was speaking. Then he pointed at Zhang Yuxi and whispered a few words, but it was unknown what he said. Then the street singer handed the microphone to Lin Feng. Hello, hello. Lin Feng took the microphone and tested the sound, then spoke. Thank you for your generosity, brother, for temporarily lending me the stage. The next song, I want to dedicate to a woman I love the most, my girlfriend. Zhang Yuxi. Wow. Pa. The onlookers applauded and encouraged. Come on, young man. Come on, brother, I salute your courage. Handsome guy, sisters support you. The onlookers encouraged one after another. Thank you for your support. The next song is not good, please don't laugh, haha. Ha. The onlookers were also amused by Lin Feng's words. Lin Feng straightened his face and gestured to the young man who had just sung. Then a beautiful accompaniment sounded slowly. Everyone just felt that this accompaniment sound was very familiar. Then they heard Lin Feng slowly speak. I can't forget the first time I saw you, a pair of charming eyes, in my mind, your figure, can't be dispelled, wow. Lin Feng just started singing the first sentence, and everyone present exploded instantly. Oh my god, what kind of a fairy voice is this? Someone couldn't help but swear. Everyone glared at him and motioned him to be quiet. Zhang Yuxi was also stunned at this moment, she opened her mouth in shock. She didn't expect that Lin Feng's singing was so beautiful. No, it was not just beautiful, it felt that those singers didn't sing as well as him. Lin Feng's singing was still coming. Holding your hands and feeling your tenderness, it's really a bit suffocating. I want to cherish your innocence, I feel sad when I see you being wronged, oh. I'm afraid I will fall in love with you, I dare not get too close to you, I'm afraid I have nothing to give you, loving you also requires a lot of courage, I'm afraid I will fall in love with you, maybe one day I won't be able to help myself, missing you only makes me suffer, I fell in love with you because I had no choice. When Raymond Lam was halfway through singing, more and more people in the square were attracted by Raymond Lam's singing. Many people picked up their phones and started recording. Why did I meet you again? I really don't want to fall into the trap of love like this. I fell in love with you because I had no choice. Until Raymond Lam finished singing the last sentence, everyone present was still immersed in Raymond Lam's singing. Pa. After a long time, everyone came back to their senses from the singing. I don't know who took the lead, but thunderous applause rang out outside the venue. Fuck. I was so absorbed in this song that I forgot to record it. Someone slapped his thigh in excitement. I have it, but only half of it. I forgot to record the beginning. Among all the people present, Zhang Yuxi was probably the only one who recorded it completely, because she started recording it thinking that if Lin Feng's singing was not good, she could make fun of him later. As a result, it turned out to be so good. Of course, she would never give this video to anyone else, she wanted to enjoy it alone. Handsome boy, one more song. Yes, one more song. You sing so well, one more song. One more song. Seeing the enthusiasm of passers-by, Lin Feng started to make a fuss and asked him to sing another song. But he didn't want to sing a second song. So he bowed to everyone, took Zhang Yuxi's hand, squeezed out of the crowd, and quickly disappeared from everyone's sight. Chapter 855 Results announced. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and trotted along. They stopped slowly after they were far away from the crowd. If they had been a few minutes later, they would not have been able to leave. The onlookers were so enthusiastic. Huh? Lin Feng took a breath, and Zhang Yuxi also stood aside, breathing heavily. Looking at the embarrassed appearance of the fleeing, the two smiled at each other. After a few minutes, they returned to normal. Lin Feng, I didn't expect you to be so good at singing. I thought you were teasing me. Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng, her eyes full of admiration. Lin Feng scratched her little nose and said with a smile, When did I lie to you? Your husband is even better in other ways. What? What else do you know that I don't know? Come on. Leniency to those who confess, severity to those who resist. Humph. Zhang Yuxi said with a fake fierce look. Oh, how can this be called fierce? It's obviously cute. This silly girl is really adorable. Lin Feng muttered in his heart. Lin Feng looked at the two little canine teeth that Zhang Yuxi showed, and suddenly thought of a joke in a short video on a certain audio platform in his previous life. So Lin Feng said, "Wife, your two little canine teeth are cute, but if they are scratched, hiss. I'm afraid it will hurt to death." Ah. How could it be? You can't scratch them. Zhang Yuxi said while deliberately showing her two little canine teeth, and her serious look was very cute. That's right, if you operate well, you shouldn't scratch them. Lin Feng smiled at Zhang Yuxi with a wicked look on his face. Zhang Yuxi didn't understand what Lin Feng was saying, and glared at him in confusion. Anyway, no matter what, just glare first. Okay, dear, it's getting late. Wife, shall we go home or go shopping again? Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's face and said gently. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock, let's go home. We have to go to school tomorrow. I guess we will review the test papers or something like that. Zhang Yuxi said. Okay, wife, please, let's go home now. Lin Feng said in a pretentious tone. After sending Zhang Yuxi home, Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator, and the Ferrari quickly disappeared at the end of the road. After returning home, Lin Feng washed up and went to bed. After a tiring day, he soon fell asleep. Nothing happened at night. The next day, Lin Feng got up early as usual, washed up and went out. After having breakfast with Zhang Yuxi, he went back to school together. Before Lin Feng entered the classroom, he heard the noise coming from the classroom. Almost everyone in school seemed to love to check the answers after the exam, and then show off with their grades. Just as Lin Feng entered the classroom, he heard the pretentious voice of the study committee member Li Zhuan in the classroom. Oh, it's over, I got 2 multiple choice questions wrong in math. I guess I can only get 135 points this time. Oh, it's so sad. Everyone. The few people who were chatting with him about the answers suddenly didn't want to talk anymore. Usually, the classmates in Lin Feng's class get along very well and have a very harmonious relationship. Therefore, Lin Feng knew that Li Zhuan didn't say this to target anyone, but just to show off. This seems to be everyone's favorite thing to do in school, nothing more. Lin Feng smiled, then walked to his seat. Seeing Lin Feng coming over, his desk mate Zhang Anmin hurriedly said, "My friend, you are here? Come, have some milk." Hey, Lao Zhang, what's going on today? If someone is too nice to you for no reason, he is either a traitor or a thief. Lin Feng glanced at him and said, No, my grades are about to come out. I'm afraid that if I do too badly, my mom will cut off my pocket money, and then I won't be able to buy novels. Please help me say a few good words when the time comes. You know, my mom thinks you are very stable and she believes you. Zhang Anmin rubbed his hands and said embarrassedly. Well? Then what? Just like that. Lin Feng weighed the milk in his hand and said to Zhang Anmin. I understand, Brother Feng. I have prepared it for you a long time ago. Here, this is for you. Zhang Anmin quickly took out a novel from the drawer and handed it to Lin Feng. Lin Feng. I don't want a novel at all, okay? Lin Feng said speechlessly in his heart. But the next second, it smelled really good. Lin Feng took the novel and took a look. It was the latest chapter version of Just Entered College. The beautiful tutor is actually the mother of the child. It smelled really good. Well, it's just barely acceptable. I'll help you say it when the time comes. Lin Feng held the novel in his left hand and the yogurt in his right hand, and said casually. Thank you, Brother Feng. Zhang Anmin nodded and bowed. At this time, the class teacher He Song walked into the classroom with the Chinese test paper and the total score report. Bang! Everyone, be quiet. You are noisy during class time. Do you think this is a vegetable market? If you don't want to learn, go home. You are the worst class I have ever taught. He Song shouted at everyone. Everyone below was terrified and didn't dare to speak at all. The citywide simulation results are out. The study committee will help me distribute the Chinese test papers and the total score reports of each subject. He Song said expressionlessly. Study committee member Li Zhuan quickly stepped forward to take the test paper and report from the class teacher, He Song. Then he went over to distribute them one by one according to the names. Li Ziahong scored 89 points, Chen Yi scored 126, Su Ziameng scored 105. The study committee distributed the reports to several people, and the results were about the same as usual. He was relieved and continued to distribute them. Hey, this is mine, 135 points, not bad, a few points better than I expected. I should have the highest score in the class, right? I can even fight for the first place in Chinese. Li Zhuan, the study committee member, thought to himself. Study committee member, hand it out faster, and the class monitor should come up and help hand out the total score of each subject. The head teacher saw that Li Zhuan, the study committee member, was too slow, so he called to the class monitor. The class monitor Liang Shooting was a girl with average looks, tall and thin, like a malnourished yellow-haired girl. She stood up and walked forward, took the report card from Li Zhuan, the study committee member, and quickly handed it out. She only looked at the name and handed it to the other party without blinking, which was in sharp contrast to Li Zhuan's constant looking. Fuck. This is impossible. While handing out the report card, Li Zhuan suddenly swore. Everyone looked at him, and the class teacher He Song also frowned at this time, a little dissatisfied. Li Zhuan also knew that he had lost his composure, and quickly handed out the test papers, but his heart was filled with turmoil. Huh? At this time, the class monitor Chen Shooting also uttered a questioning sound, but she was not as excited as Li Zhuan. Without thinking any more, she quickly handed the report card in her hand to Lin Feng. Soon, all the test papers and the total scorecard were distributed. The head teacher stood on the podium, cleared his throat, and then threw the textbook in his hand on the podium with a bang. Our results in this city-wide unified examination are not very ideal. Not only Chinese, but other subjects are also very bad. I can't bear to look at it. You have come to review these days, and you review like this. I closed my eyes and took the exam, and I got a higher score than you. The class teacher He Song stood on the podium and shouted loudly, and it is estimated that the next class can hear his voice. Then he said, some students are not making progress but regressing. They should reflect on what went wrong. Especially you, Li Zhuan, as a study committee member, you should set an example for your classmates and take the lead, but your total score in the city-wide unified examination has regressed to 28th in the whole grade, and you are almost out of the ranking in the city. You should reflect on yourself. He Song did not give any face and scolded the study committee member Li Zhuan in front of the whole class. Of course. This is actually to show his concern for him. If you don't beat him, you won't become a good person. Li Zhuan was completely confused. One wave after another, he hadn't recovered from the blow when he saw Lin Feng's Chinese test results just now, and He Song eyed him again. His face flushed red, his fists clenched tightly under the table, and his heart was full of unwillingness and shame. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 856, Nothing But Practice. After reprimanding the study committee member, He Song cleared his throat and continued, of course, there is another good news to tell you. First of all, I want to praise Lin Feng from our class. Lin Feng has made great progress in this city-wide exam, so much so that it is unbelievable. I can only say that our classmate Lin Feng, if he does not make a name for himself, will make a big splash. He Song sighed. As soon as he finished speaking, Chen Shooting's eyes flickered and she glanced at Lin Feng, her eyes full of meaning. At this time, the class monitor Chen Shooting recalled that she had just seen Lin Feng's total score, a full score of 750. Originally, she thought she had seen it wrong, but now, it turns out that she was not wrong. Lin Feng scored 150 points in the Chinese language test. Full marks. Lin Feng's answers and essays were so good that all the examiners couldn't find any faults. As soon as He Song finished speaking, the audience went crazy. Wow. Oh my god. That's awesome. Fuck, buddy, no, brother Feng, tell me, how did you do it? Zhang Yanmin, his desk mate, asked Lin Feng excitedly. Lin Feng was not moved at all, and even wanted to laugh. The system told him the result last night. There was nothing he could do, he was just that good. Lin Feng turned his head and glanced at Zhang Yanmin and said indifferently. Nothing special, just practice makes perfect. Zhang Yuxi. This guy is so pretentious, but who can blame Lin Feng for being pretentious? Just when everyone was talking about it, the class leader He-song dropped a bombshell. Lin Feng from our class not only got 150 points in Chinese, but also got full marks in all other subjects. With a total score of 750 points, he topped the city's unified exam. And he left the second place by 60 points. He's a well-deserved king. The class owner He-song became more and more excited. Boom. Fuck. Is this still a human being? My friend 666. Idol. Awesome. Brother Feng, you will be my only boss from now on. The words of the class owner He-song made the people below explode completely, and the whole class of senior 3 and 5 was filled with shouts of fuck. But Lin Feng was still very calm about all this, like a master who remained calm even when Mount Tai collapsed in front of him. Zhang Yuxi, his deskmate, looked at Lin Feng, opened his mouth, and hesitated to speak. Lin Feng looked at him calmly and said, "Don't ask. If you ask, it's just because you are familiar with it." Zhang Yuxi. Next, this class. Everyone was in shock. Class teacher He-song looked at the absent-minded people in the audience, feeling helpless, but there was nothing he could do. When he heard the news, he was shocked for the whole day. He was frightened. This perfect score was something that had never happened since the establishment of Magic City No. 3 Middle School. Not only was he shocked, but all the teachers in the 3rd grade of Magic City were surprised by Lin Feng's results. They all wished that Lin Feng was a student of their school. After all, the difficulty of this unified examination was almost equivalent to that of the college entrance examination. No, it should be more difficult than the college entrance examination. If Lin Feng could get full marks, he would definitely get more than 700 points in the college entrance examination, and he would definitely be admitted to Tsinghua University or Peking University. After everyone finally waited until the class was over, as soon as class teacher He-song left, the entire class 3-5 of the 3rd grade instantly became excited. Almost everyone gathered in front of Lin Feng and spoke up. Lin Feng, full marks. How did you do that? Yes. Big brother, please share some experience. My score of over 500 is a bit embarrassing. Get lost. I only got over 300 points. I didn't say anything. How dare you get over 500 points? Yes, Brother Feng, tell me how you feel. Everyone was talking at once. Lin Feng looked at everyone and was about to speak. Zhang Yuxi suddenly said, "Nothing special, just practice makes perfect." Everyone. Actually, what Lao Zhang said is right. There is no shortcut to learning. Do more, watch more, compare more, and when you reach a certain level, all problems will be solved. Lin Feng looked at everyone and said slowly. Everyone naturally didn't believe it, and just as they were about to open their mouths to ask more, the class bell rang. There was nothing they could do, so everyone had to give up. Lin Feng naturally knew that everyone didn't believe it. After all, his grades soared from the upper middle level to the top in an instant. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, no one would believe it. But there is no way. Lin Feng can't tell them that I have the God-level learning ability given by the system, right? In fact, having the God-level learning ability given by the system is the foundation. If Lin Feng hadn't been reading books and doing exercises for more than 2 months, he would not have achieved such results. After all, the system only gives abilities. If he doesn't learn, the system can't save him. Lin Feng shook his head and stopped thinking about it. His new life is just the beginning. In every class that follows, every teacher will repeat Lin Feng's amazing achievements. Gradually, everyone has slowly become numb from the initial shock. And Lin Feng's amazing results also spread throughout the school at a rapid speed. Lin Feng's name became known to everyone in the school in one day. Everyone wanted to see with their own eyes whether Lin Feng, who achieved this amazing result, had 3 heads and 6 arms. Later, even Lin Feng's amazing move at the oath-taking ceremony was dug out. Everyone suddenly realized that it was the god who confessed to the school bell in front of the whole school. The thousands of emotions in everyone's mind can only be described by one sentence: awesome crass. At this moment, Lin Feng's amazing results also spread to Zhang Yuxi's class. At this time, several girls in the class who were close to Zhang Yuxi came over and said to her, "Yuxi, I didn't expect your husband to be so amazing." Zhang Yuxi heard this. Her face turned red to the root of her neck, but she was extremely happy in her heart. It turns out that this idiot didn't lie, he is really amazing. Thinking that Lin Feng can make money on his own, sings super well, and even has such good grades. Zhang Yuxi is very happy, because Lin Feng is her man. Zhang Yuxi now admires Lin Feng from the bottom of her heart, and she is proud of Lin Feng. When she thought of the mushy words that this idiot Lin Feng said to her, Zhang Yuxi's face couldn't help but turn red again. On the other hand, Lin Feng, who had no idea about all this, was happily reading the novel given to him by his deskmate Zhang Yanmin. After Lin Feng finished reading it, the protagonist's experience was really similar to his own. He felt that he could write a similar novel. At this time, the class monitor Chen Shooting came over and said to Lin Feng, "Lin Feng, the class teacher asked you to go to the office." "Oh, did the class teacher say anything?" Lin Feng asked. "No, you will know when you go," Chen Shooting replied. "Oh." After that, Lin Feng stood up and walked towards the class teacher He Song's office. Knock, knock. Lin Feng stood at the door and knocked. "Come in." The voice of the class teacher He Song came from the office. "Old class teacher, are you looking for me?" Lin Feng asked casually, because he and He Song had a good relationship in private. "Well, you kid, you are so hidden, this time it is really surprising." He Song sighed. "No, no." Lin Feng waved his hand modestly. "Cut it, you kid, don't try that, I don't know you." He Song rolled his eyes at him. Then he said seriously, "It's like this. Principal Wang learned about your situation and wants to recommend you to Tsinghua University and Peking University. What do you think?" "Oh, recommend? I haven't thought about it." Lin Feng told the truth. "Then can't you think about it now?" He Song said unhappily. Lin Feng hesitated for a moment, then said, "Well, let me think about it first." You still have to think about this opportunity that many people can't even dream of," He Song said with some regret. Seeing that Lin Feng didn't speak, he said helplessly, "Okay, then you think about it carefully and give me an answer before the college entrance examination. Principal Wang is still waiting for the quota to be reported." "Okay." Lin Feng answered seriously. Okay, go to class, I'm so angry just looking at you." He Song waved his hand to signal him that he could leave. "Huh?" Lin Feng turned and left. Standing at the door of the office, he took a deep breath and muttered to himself. Admission to Peking University and Tsinghua University. Chapter 857, the singing video exploded on the internet. Time passed quickly. This day passed by in the review of test papers. After the evening self-study, Lin Feng walked to the door of Class 1 of Senior 3 as usual. Zhang Yuxi was still seriously revising the test papers. This time, Zhang Yuxi scored the 6th place in the liberal arts class, although she improved 1 or 2 places compared to before. But compared with Lin Feng, it was not much different. As Lin Feng's girlfriend, she wanted to keep up with Lin Feng and didn't want to fall behind too much. Zhang Yuxi was seriously recording the wrong questions in her practice book all day. "Hey, Yuxi, your guy is here." At this time, her deskmate pulled Zhang Yuxi's clothes, pointed at Lin Feng at the door, and said to her jokingly. Zhang Yuxi looked up and saw Lin Feng standing quietly at the door looking at her. She couldn't help but smile sweetly. "Yuxi, you are torturing the dog." The deskmate looked at Zhang Yuxi and joked with a look of "I'm going to die." Zhang Yuxi's face turned red instantly, and then rolled her eyes at her deskmate. She quickly packed up her things and walked out of the classroom with her small bag on her back. Then the two walked side by side and disappeared from everyone's sight. The two walked on the blue stone path under the dim street lights, and their figures flickered. "Silly, I know, your grades are really good," Zhang Yuxi suddenly said. "Well, my wife's grades are also good," Lin Feng said with a smile. "Then why did you?" Zhang Yuxi was a little confused. "My grades were not so good before, and I have been working hard for love during this period," and then he was fine. Lin Feng talked nonsense seriously. "Not serious." Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at him and stopped talking. She didn't want to ask, she believed Lin Feng. Because if Lin Feng wanted to say it, he would tell her naturally. The two walked slowly, and the road seemed to have no end and could never be finished. At the same time, a video of a street singing appeared on the internet of major platforms and quickly set off the internet. The original publisher just liked it very much and couldn't help sharing it, but he didn't expect to ignite this online world in an instant. His own private message backend was almost filled with messages. One person spread it to 10, 10 spread it to 100. 1,000 spread it to 10,000. Thousands of people forwarded and commented. "Wow, what kind of divine voice is this? I'm going for it. I love this little brother. The little brother is good, but with my many years of LSP experience, I love the girl recording the video in the crowd more. Wow, brother has a good eye. +1 based on my many years of experience in the music industry. Young man, you are going to be famous. This singer's level has surpassed most singers on the market without professional equipment. Well, he is almost comparable to me. In a short time, this video went from over 10,000 hits to hundreds of thousands and tens of millions, and finally broke 100 million in just one night. And all this, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi knew nothing about, because neither of them liked to go online. Zhang Yuxi was busy studying and had no time to go online, while Lin Feng simply felt that the internet level of this era was too poor and not easy to use. After Lin Feng returned home, he washed up and went to bed. The next day, Lin Feng still got up early, washed up and went out to have breakfast with Zhang Yuxi. After breakfast, the two chatted casually while walking to school. As soon as he returned to the classroom and sat down, he heard the classmates in the classroom talking about street singing and real singers among the people. Lin Feng was not very interested either, and took out a book of English simulation test papers from the drawer to practice questions. At this time, his deskmate Zhang Anmin came in from outside the classroom. As soon as he came in, he heard the classmates gathered together to discuss street singing singers and so on, so he came over. This video has been viewed over 100 million times in one night. It's not an exaggeration to say that it is the real sound of nature. A girl exclaimed. Yes, I played it on loop all night last night and fell asleep listening to it. What video is so awesome? Let me take a look. Zhang Anmin said with curiosity and disbelief. As he said that, he took the girl's mobile phone and clicked on the video to play it. The scene was quite noisy. The video was shot by a mobile phone, the pixels were not very good, and it was compressed after uploading, so it looked a bit blurry. But he could still hear the singer's heavenly voice, and Zhang Anmin was immediately mesmerized. Zhang Anmin was still immersed in it until the video was finished. After a while, Zhang Anmin woke up from his intoxication, and the people around him couldn't help laughing when they saw his stupid face. They were in a similar state when they watched the video. Zhang Anmin suddenly felt something was wrong, and he clicked on the video again to play it. Hey, Lao Zhang, you're here again, class is about to start, go back and enjoy it slowly. One of them joked. Zhang Anmin stared at the video that was playing, motioning him to be quiet. Zhang Anmin looked at the singer in the video, and the more he looked at her, the more familiar she looked, and the more he looked, the more he felt like he had seen her somewhere. Hiss. Isn't this the school beauty? Oh my god. Zhang Anmin suddenly shouted loudly. Everyone in the classroom was attracted by Zhang Anmin and his shout of oh my god. Everyone looked in his direction, and the few people around were also startled by Zhang Anmin's strange cry. Old Zhang, what's wrong with you? You scared me. Several people looked at Zhang Anmin in confusion. Chapter 858. Is that you in the video? At the same time, in Zhang Yuxi's classroom, Zhang Yuxi sat at the desk, looking at the test paper Lin Feng gave him, and couldn't help sighing in his heart. My idiot is so amazing. I'm almost moved by this composition. Zhang Yuxi was thinking, and was suddenly startled by a scream. Ah! Zhang Yuxi looked at her deskmate Li Feng with a puzzled look. I don't know what happened to her. Yuxi. Look, isn't this you? Deskmate Li Feng held up her mobile phone and handed it to Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi took a look. Isn't this the video of Lin Feng singing on the street 2 days ago? It turned out that she was filmed by passers-by, and then the video was uploaded to the internet. It's not a big deal. Fortunately, when Lin Feng said those words at the beginning, they were not recorded, otherwise it would be embarrassing. So Zhang Yuxi admitted it openly. Well, it was indeed me. It happened when we went out shopping that day. What happened? Yuxi, so the person singing is your family's one. Deskmate Li Feng said excitedly. Although Zhang Yuxi was a little confused, she still nodded. Oh my god. Yuxi, you really don't know. Li Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with envy. Know what? Zhang Yuxi looked confused. Yuxi, your guy is famous. Did you know that? Li Feng said excitedly. Huh? What's famous? Zhang Yuxi looked confused. I mean your guy sang this song, and this video became famous. It went viral on the internet, and it got over 100 million hits in one night. Li Feng said excitedly. Huh? Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth in surprise. Zhang Yuxi originally thought that it was simply posted by a netizen, and happened to be seen by her deskmate Lin Feng, but she didn't expect. But think about it, Lin Feng's singing is really beautiful. And in the classroom of class 3-5 of senior 3, Zhang Anmin ran to Lin Feng with a mobile phone video, looked at Lin Feng, and then looked at the mobile phone. Lin Feng raised his head and glanced at Zhang Anmin. "Old Zhang, what's wrong with you? If you have something to say, just say it. If you have something to say, go away." "No," teased he. "Oh, no, Brother Feng. Is that you in the video?" Zhang Anmin handed the phone to Lin Feng and asked carefully. Lin Feng glanced at the phone. It turned out to be the video of him singing on the street that was taken by a passerby the night before yesterday. "Yes, it's me," Lin Feng said lightly. "Fuck, Brother Feng, it's really you." I said the more I look at it, the more familiar it looks. I was not sure when I saw the school beauty in the crowd, I didn't expect it. Brother Feng. Awesome. Zhang Anmin said loudly and excitedly. Everyone in the classroom heard it. Fuck, it's really you. Someone took out his phone to look up the video and compared it. It was Lin Feng. Someone realized that what old Zhang Anmin said just now seemed to be the school beauty and Lin Feng together. I am so convinced. Someone muttered to himself. Going out on a date with a school beauty, being photographed and posted on the forum, then the school beauty became my girlfriend, the city-wide unified exam scored full marks, and now there is another heavenly sound. Everything that Lin Feng has done during this period is really too awesome. Such excellence, such perfection, how can we live? Everyone thought in their hearts. Brother Feng, when will you play 2 songs for us? Zhang Anmin said in a mean way. Yes, Brother Feng, this video is not as good as the live version. Everyone echoed. Next time there is a chance, it's almost time for class now, everyone be quiet, let's go to class first. Lin Feng said with a smile. After everyone returned to their seats, some people began to comment under the video to show off. Shock. The singer of the heavenly sound is actually my classmate. Soon attracted a large wave of comments, and he replied happily in his heart. And all this, Lin Feng's heart was not moved at all. Basic exercises, just basic exercises. Brother Feng, can you sign an autograph for me? Zhang Anmin said to Lin Feng in a mean way. Huh? Why do you want my autograph? Lin Feng looked puzzled. It's because when you become famous one day, your autograph will be valuable. Then I can take advantage of the opportunity to make some money, right? Zhang Anmin said with a mean look on his face. Lin Feng. Go away and have some fun. Lin Feng said unhappily. Ding ling ling. Just then, the bell for class rang. The English teacher walked into the classroom, and the whole classroom instantly became quiet. Lin Feng was too lazy to pay attention to Zhang Anmin anymore. One day passed quickly, and the news that Lin Feng was the singer of the Cheyenne Lays Hyein video on the internet caused a storm in the school, which intensified. Chapter 859 Zhang Fuiong appears. Time flies. It always passes by in the blink of an eye when people don't notice it. That day, Lin Feng appeared at the door of Zhang Yuxi's classroom just after evening self-study. Zhang Yuxi also packed up her things early and waited for Lin Feng to appear in the classroom. The two of them became more and more tacit. Seeing that it was still early today, the two chose a slightly longer way home, which passed through the park and then went around to the street. At this time, there were still many grandpas and aunts in the park enjoying the cool air and chatting about family matters. The two walked on the cobblestone path in the park. Crack, crack. The sound of the soles of the shoes stepping on the stone slabs was blown behind them by the wind, leaving only the shadows of the two people stretched very long under the dim light. Zhang Yuxi's childishness rose, kicking the small stones on the road. Lin Feng looked at her gently like a child, with a slight smile on his lips. Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi suddenly stopped, tilted her head and looked at Lin Feng and said. Huh? What's wrong? Lin Feng replied softly. You are so good, I am a little scared. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng and said slowly. Today, my classmates told me that your singing video has become popular on the internet. Many people are watching it. Many people like you. I suddenly feel a little scared. One day you will leave me. I don't know what will happen to me. I dare not imagine it. Zhang Yuxi said softly, as if she was saying some ordinary words, but the slight tremor in her voice proved her fear. Lin Feng turned her around and asked her to face him. Lin Feng looked at her straight with a serious face. The two were silent for a while, and suddenly smiled at each other. Zhang Yuxi understood the firmness in Lin Feng's eyes, and Lin Feng understood Zhang Yuxi's intentions. The tacit understanding between the two and the firmness of their feelings made the worries that Zhang Yuxi had just mentioned disappear without a trace in an instant. Lin Feng gently embraced her in his arms, and the two felt each other's heartbeat and breath. I love you, in fact, you can know it without words. Zhang Yuxi's heart felt extremely quiet at the moment. The future might be unknown, but with you, my heart is at peace. The two hugged each other for a while, and Zhang Yuxi gently struggled out of Lin Feng's arms. She looked at Lin Feng and showed a sweet, happy smile. The days with Lin Feng were the happiest days she had felt in these years. The sense of security that Lin Feng brought her completely released the innocence that had been suppressed for these years. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's delicate and beautiful little face and said softly, "Little fool, don't be afraid of anything. No matter how good I am, I will only belong to you alone. No matter who will change, I can promise you that I will never change in my lifetime. Let time verify all this. Also, you are also very good. Don't belittle yourself. You are my girlfriend, and I don't know how many people envy me. So, don't say these stupid things in the future. I, Lin Feng, have you in my life, and that's enough." Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with love in her eyes. Although the two have not been together for a long time, their hearts have long been tightly attached to each other. Many people who like to love someone will inadvertently compare, worry, be afraid, and worry about gains and losses. Maybe this is the case. Zhang Yuxi thought to herself. She secretly made up her mind to make herself better and try to keep up with Lin Feng's pace. She didn't want Lin Feng to stop and wait for her. She wanted to walk side by side with Lin Feng, just like now. The two stayed for a while and then went home. After Lin Feng sent Zhang Yuxi home, he walked back alone. Under the dim street lights, Lin Feng's figure looked a little thin. Lin Feng was thinking about what Zhang Yuxi said just now, and his mind was full of thoughts. He could understand Zhang Yuxi's worries, and he could also understand her worries. Because of this, he had to give her enough sense of security. Lin Feng, who lived again and had a system, was destined to have an extraordinary life. Some people may think, since he has lived again and has a system, why should he hang himself on a tree? Why not break the rules of the world and live a happy life? Maybe everyone has something they stick to in their hearts. You are like this, he is like this, and so is Lin Feng. In the last life, he could treat Zhang Yuxi like his first love every day, so he can keep himself clean for her in this life. You can say that Lin Feng is stupid or foolish. This is Lin Feng's inner persistence. Lin Feng suddenly remembered a famous saying in his last life, "Meet the person you want to meet among thousands of people, in thousands of years, in the endless wilderness of time, not a step earlier, not a step later. Love is like this, meeting you just right, the time is just right, fortunately it is you." When Lin Feng returned home, it was already 11:30. After washing up, he went to bed and fell asleep. The next day, Lin Feng got up early in the morning and found that his father Lin Dashan had also gotten up. "Dad, why did you get up so early today?" Lin Feng asked casually. "Well, there is an advertising event to attend today," Lin Dashan replied. Then the two of them went to wash up, and after finishing, they went out one after another. Lin Feng ranked first in the city's mock unified examination. He hadn't mentioned it to his father either. It wasn't the college entrance exam anyway, so it didn't matter. Lin Feng hummed a popular song from the internet in his previous life and walked leisurely to the school. On the other side, Zhang Yuxi was a little nervous. Today, her father said that he would take her to school when he was free. Zhang Yuxi was a little entangled in her heart, afraid that her father Zhang Fuiong would run into Lin Feng later. "Dad, I can go by myself. No need to trouble you to make a trip," Zhang Yuxi said with some entanglement. Zhang Fuiong was a little strange. What happened to his daughter today? Why didn't she want to take her there? "It's okay. Dad happened to be free and was on the way," Zhang Fuiong said with a smile. Zhang Yuxi was even more entangled now. She couldn't refuse. She wanted to notify Lin Feng, but at this moment she remembered that she didn't have Lin Feng's contact information. Usually, the two of them would meet on time and tacitly. They both forgot about this matter. Time passed in Zhang Yuxi's entanglement. Soon Zhang Fuiong finished washing up and looked at his daughter Zhang Yuxi. "Okay, Yuxi, let's go. Dad will take you there." "Yes." Zhang Yuxi's little face was full of worry, and she forced a smile to respond. At this time, Lin Feng had no idea about Zhang Yuxi's situation, and he was still humming a little tune while walking. Soon, Zhang Yuxi's father drove her to the noodle stall not far from the school gate. Zhang Yuxi hurriedly told her father that it was okay to just take her there, and she could have breakfast and then walk to school. Zhang Yuxi asked you if he should accompany her for breakfast, and Zhang Fuiong waved his hands repeatedly to indicate that no, he could do it himself. Dad, you go back, I'll go to class after breakfast, Zhang Yuxi said. Although Zhang Fuiong was a little confused, his daughter seemed to want him to leave quickly. But Zhang Fuiong didn't think much about it. He just thought that Zhang Yuxi probably felt that she was afraid that her classmates would see her and feel shy. After all, she was so old, and her father still took her to school. Zhang Fuiong thought to himself. Then Dad left. Zhang Fuiong looked at Zhang Yuxi and said, "Yes." Zhang Yuxi replied. Chapter 860, Turning Down the Admission Quota. At this time, Lin Feng just appeared at the intersection not far away. From a distance, he saw Zhang Yuxi, with a sweet smile on his face, and couldn't help but speed up his pace. Zhang Yuxi also saw Lin Feng and subconsciously showed a sweet smile. Zhang Fuiong was a little confused why his daughter was so happy suddenly. But he didn't see Lin Feng, so although it was a little strange that his daughter, who had a sad face just now, suddenly became happy, he didn't think much about it. Then Daddy's leaving, you take care of yourself. Reading is too tiring, just take a break, don't work too hard, Zhang Fuiong instructed Zhang Yuxi. Looking at Lin Feng's figure getting closer and closer, Zhang Yuxi replied absent-mindedly. Yes, Dad. You go back soon, I know. When Lin Feng approached, he found that there was a middle-aged man next to Zhang Yuxi. So Lin Feng slowed down his pace and observed while walking. Isn't the strong and handsome face of this middle-aged man the younger version of Zhang Fuiong in his previous life? Haha. It turned out to be the father-in-law? That's okay, we're all old acquaintances. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's nervousness and hurriedly urging Zhang Fuiong to leave, Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. Huh? Zhang Yuxi watched her father Zhang Fuiong get in the car and drive away, and she finally breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Feng then walked forward. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's relieved look, Lin Feng joked. Wife, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid that your father will break my leg? Heh. Hate it. I was so nervous just now, and you're teasing me like this. Zhang Yuxi glared at Lin Feng and said a little aggrieved. Ha ha ha, okay, wife, it's okay, next time, I'll personally visit my father-in-law and beg him to marry you to me. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's face and said seriously. Huh? Zhang Yuxi pouted and snorted. Okay, wife, let's have breakfast first, dear. Lin Feng said. So the two of them sat down at the noodle stall, ordered 2 bowls of noodles and started eating. Lin Feng, let's leave a phone number. Today's situation is too passive, Zhang Yuxi said after thinking for a while after eating a mouthful of noodles. Well, this is my mistake. I have always forgotten about this matter. After saying that, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's phone and entered his own phone number and instant messaging method. Then he saved Zhang Yuxi's phone number in his own phone. At this point, the two finally ended the primitive-like love life without contact information and officially entered the information age. After breakfast, the two walked hand in hand to school. The two have long been accustomed to each other's existence, and even holding hands is a natural thing. Now Zhang Yuxi dares to hold hands with Lin Feng on the road openly. Unlike at the beginning, Zhang Yuxi was very shy and would blush to the root of her neck when holding hands with Lin Feng on the road. Yuxi. Lin Feng turned his head and shouted to Zhang Yuxi. I have a baby that can grow bigger and smaller, do you want to see it? Lin Feng suddenly wanted to tease Zhang Yuxi. I want to see it, Zhang Yuxi said seriously. Oh, you have to watch this thing at night when the lights are off. Lin Feng said nonsense seriously. Does it have to be at night? Not during the day. Zhang Yuxi looked at him with a questioning look. Well, it's not impossible during the day, but it's always a little bit not so good. Lin Feng said a little embarrassedly. Zhang Yuxi really doesn't understand it all. If it were someone like Lao Jiang, who is my deskmate, he would instantly know that Lin Feng is driving. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's delicate and beautiful little face gently. This puzzled expression is so cute. After thinking about it, Zhang Yuxi is really innocent and cute. Zhang Yuxi didn't understand a word of the dirty words he said from time to time. Every time he looked at Lin Feng with a puzzled look, just like now. Lin Feng secretly made up his mind to protect Zhang Yuxi's innocence. So he decided to turn down the principal's quota for admission to Tsinghua and Peking University. Take the college entrance examination. When the time comes, he will go wherever Zhang Yuxi goes, at least in the same city. Otherwise, the world is so complicated, and Zhang Yuxi is so innocent that she will help others count money even if she is deceived and sold. Zhang Yuxi did not ask any more questions. The school was right in front of them. The two of them loosened their hands and walked in slowly. After all, they still had to pay attention to the impact in school. After the two walked behind the teaching building, they separated and went back to their respective classrooms. The days before the college entrance examination are always so boring. Every day, they keep reviewing and reviewing, repeating the same actions. However, Lin Feng was very relaxed, which formed a sharp contrast with everyone else. At his current level, the college entrance examination was no longer difficult for him. And he inadvertently asked Zhang Yuxi about what knowledge points she did not understand in the past few days. So he is now reading about liberal arts. He is studying some key points and difficulties and plans to review them with Zhang Yuxi. If other people knew what Lin Feng is doing now, they would probably be shocked. Oh my! Where can I find such a good boyfriend? Lin Feng was studying seriously, writing and drawing on paper, and soon the morning passed. It was the last class in the morning. According to the schedule, this class should be physical education. But everyone had already gotten used to it. Physical education was used as self-study class for various subjects, so everyone did not move and sat quietly in the classroom to review. As a result, the physical education teacher waited in the playground for a long time but no one came, so he went to the classroom in person. Classmates, why don't you go down to the playground for this physical education class? The voice of the physical education teacher sounded at the door of the classroom. In an instant, the whole classroom was boiling. Wow! Yeah! It's been a long time since I last saw a physical education class. A group of boys took the lead and stood up to make a noise. Hurry up, everyone, hurry up. The physical education committee will organize it, don't affect other classes. The physical education teacher looked at everyone so excited and said helplessly. Soon everyone went down to the playground and quickly gathered and lined up. Coincidentally, Zhang Yuxi's class was also a physical education class. Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi's figure from a distance. That outstanding face, even if mixed in the crowd, still can't cover her radiance. Just like the stars in the night, the dark night sky is just its foil. Zhang Yuxi is like this at this time. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi from a distance, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but slightly raised. Zhang Yuxi also saw Lin Feng at this time, and a sweet smile bloomed on her face. Lin Feng planned to go to Zhang Yuxi after the class was dismissed, but at this time the class owner He Song appeared. Chapter 861 Wherever you go, I go. Seeing He Song with a stern face, he appeared in the physical education class. Everyone thought that this physical education class would be cancelled, and everyone had a look of despair on their faces. As a result, the head teacher found the physical education teacher, whispered a few words to him, and then called Lin Feng over. Everyone was relieved immediately, as long as he didn't occupy the class. Lin Feng was just about to find the head teacher, He Song, to talk about the recommendation quota. As it happened, He Song came to him first. So he walked over. Teacher He, do you have something to talk to me about? Lin Feng said seriously. After all, there is a physical education teacher. You should give face when you should give face, and be serious when you should be serious. Lin Feng can sit in the position of the leader of the student union and have a good relationship with various teachers. It's not just talk. Well, how have you considered the recommendation for admission to Tsinghua University and Peking University? Principal Wang asked me, and the list needs to be reported. He Song also spoke with a serious face. The physical education teacher also heard about this for the first time and looked curious. Lin Feng was silent for a while and slowly said, Teacher He, is Zhang Yuxi from class 1 on the list of recommended students? He Song was a little surprised after hearing what Lin Feng said, but when he thought of the 100-day oath-taking ceremony, he understood. He looked at Lin Feng and said, Zhang Yuxi's grades are still a little short, so she is not on the recommended list this time. Oh, then I know, I choose to give up. Lin Feng said without hesitation. At this time, not only He Song was surprised, but also the physical education teacher beside him was stunned. Someone was willing to give up such a good opportunity. He-song was silent for a while and slowly said, Lin Feng, you have to think it over carefully. This is not a joke. Such a good opportunity, once you give it up, the college entrance examination will still be uncertain. Lin Feng looked back at Zhang Yuxi in the crowd and smiled. Then he turned back to He-song and said, Teacher He, I have thought it over. I give up the recommended student. He-song. Physical education teacher. The two of them were a little speechless. They could see that Lin Feng chose to give up completely for Zhang Yuxi. Give up admission to Tsinghua University and Peking University for love? Question mark. The world of young people nowadays, they don't understand. After Lin Feng finished his decision, He-song felt a little helpless, but there was nothing he could do. He smiled bitterly and waved his hand to signal Lin Feng to leave. Lin Feng returned to the team. The physical education teacher looked at He-song, who had a headache, and said, I say, old Lin, do you know what these young people are thinking now? Admission to Tsinghua University and Peking University, tisk tisk tisk, just give up. He-song rolled his eyes at him. How should I know? If I knew, would I still have a headache? He-song said unhappily. The physical education teacher saw that He-song was not happy, and didn't want to offend him. The physical education teacher apologized and walked to the front of the team, clapping his hands. Everyone finally has a physical education class. This class will not be a compulsory group activity. Everyone will be free to do anything after the dismissal. Stand at attention. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After counting, the physical education committee member trotted to the physical education teacher and said loudly, Report. The number of students in class 3-5 of senior high school is 48. The actual number of students is 48. The paid teacher nodded with satisfaction, and then said, Disband. Boom. When everyone heard this, they ran away like a bull just out of the gate. Lin Feng walked slowly towards Zhang Yuxi's direction. At this moment, Zhang Yuxi's class was still doing exercises, warming up before exercise. They saw that Lin Feng's class could move freely, and they were instantly envious. All this was seen by their paid teacher, but he remained calm and watched everyone doing exercises with an expressionless face. Lin Feng had already walked not far from Zhang Yuxi's class queue. He looked at Zhang Yuxi's perfect figure, which was both curvy and thin. Even the most ordinary warm-up exercises were incomparably graceful and beautiful when she danced. Lin Feng watched with great interest, but it was hard for Zhang Yuxi. She had already seen Lin Feng, and she also saw the way Lin Feng was staring at her. With so many people watching, Zhang Yuxi's face was red all the way to her neck. Fortunately, she was exercising now and no one noticed her. She kept making up stories about Lin Feng in her mind. Humph, this bad guy, with so many people around, he still looked at me with such eyes. Oh, so embarrassing. Wait, see how I deal with him, humph. Lin Feng didn't know what Zhang Yuxi was thinking at this moment. He was still looking at her happily, thinking. The 98 points given by the system for appearance is really extraordinary. In the future, my daughter with Zhang Yuxi will definitely be super beautiful and cute, Lin Feng thought happily in his heart. Beep, beep. The physical education teacher of Zhang Yuxi's class blew the whistle. Everyone stopped. Everyone. Stand at attention. Count. After counting, everyone in Zhang Yuxi's class thought that the physical education teacher would ask them to run laps. Because according to past experience, everyone was so envious when they saw the people in Lin Feng's class across from them having fun. They looked at the paid teacher with despair. The tall paid teacher in their class saw everyone's expressions and laughed. Beep, beep. Everyone. Everyone was ready. Disband. Everyone was stunned and stood still. Then they heard the paid teacher's meticulous voice. Since you don't want to disband, then I won't be polite. The paid teacher said something in a serious voice. Boom. Yes. The teacher is awesome. The teacher is great. Everyone dispersed, leaving only a burst of strange noises. The paid teacher looked at everyone and couldn't help but smiled and shook his head. A bunch of kids. Then he turned and left. Zhang Yuxi also smiled sweetly at this time and trotted towards Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi came to Lin Feng, still panting heavily. She was tired from the warm-up and the jogging. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was panting and had messy hair, and felt a different kind of charm. Lin Feng couldn't help but reach out and scratch Zhang Yuxi's nose, smiling. Wife, you've suffered. Hate it. Zhang Yuxi reached out and slapped Lin Feng's hand away, saying in a delicate voice. After a while, Zhang Yuxi finally felt better, but her face was still a little red, and it was hard to tell whether it was from the tiredness of exercise or shyness. Zhang Yuxi said she was thirsty, so the two walked shoulder to shoulder towards the school canteen. Everyone in the two classes knew that the two were together. Looking at this pair of golden boys and jade girls, they were envious. When would it be their turn to have a sweet love? Everyone was jealous. Lin Feng, what did your class teacher ask you for just now? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously. Oh, asking my school to recommend me to Tsinghua University and Peking University, but I refused. Lin Feng said casually. Why? Zhang Yuxi said, her voice gradually weakened. As soon as Zhang Yuxi finished speaking, she realized why Lin Feng did that. She was extremely intelligent, although very simple, but she knew that the reason why Lin Feng did this was entirely because of her. She was silent for a while and slowly spoke. Lin Feng, you don't have to be like this. Little fool, what are you talking about? It's okay, don't worry. Where you go, I go. Lin Feng said softly. A breeze blew by, and the two walked away, leaving only a sentence, a slightly vague where you go, I go, vaguely drifting into everyone's ears. Chapter 862 Welcome sister-in-law home. Zhang Yuxi felt extremely warm when she heard Lin Feng's words. She felt that the luckiest thing in her life was to meet Lin Feng. After the two bought water, they sat under the tree and chatted. Soon, the class was over. After class, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi and the two slowly walked towards the school cafeteria. The two walked together very naturally, and soon someone recognized that she was the school beauty Zhang Yuxi, and Lin Feng was also recognized. There was no way. Lin Feng's street singing video was still very popular. Passers-by pointed at the two of them and whispered. It turned out that the two of them were really together. Although the two did not hold hands, the love that inadvertently revealed in each other's eyes proved that their relationship was not simple. The two of them were outstanding in appearance, and it was hard not to attract attention when handsome men and beautiful women walked together. Everyone envied them. Although the system only gave Lin Feng 80 points for his appearance, Lin Feng's height of 183 centimeters and his unique steady temperament made him look very handsome. So Lin Feng has always been dissatisfied with the system giving him 80 points for his appearance. Now it seems that there is some reason. Maybe it is really the system's bad taste that deliberately gave him a low score. After the two arrived at the cafeteria, Lin Feng first asked Zhang Yuxi to sit down obediently, and then he went to line up for food. This doting heart is enviable. After Lin Feng got the food, the two chatted while eating. At this time, Lin Feng remembered the materials he sorted out in the morning, so he said to Zhang Yuxi, "Wife?" Lin Feng was used to calling her Zhang Yuxi blushed instantly when she heard Lin Feng calling her like this in public, and she responded in a low voice. "Well, I sorted out a review material this morning. I'll give it to you after dinner." Lin Feng ignored the eyes of others and said gently, Although Zhang Yuxi was a little shy, she felt warm in her heart. This fool thought of everything for her. He was really not afraid of spoiling her. After the two finished their meal, they returned to Lin Feng's class 3-5 classroom. At this time, most of the students in the classroom had just finished lunch and came back to study hard. The appearance of the two instantly set off the whole classroom. Oh my god. This is the rhythm of a public declaration, these two people. Everyone couldn't help but think in their hearts. The boy Zhang Yanmin, who was sitting at the same table, took the lead in making a noise. "Hello, Brother Feng. Hello, sister-in-law. Welcome sister-in-law home." As soon as these words came out, the whole classroom immediately followed suit. Regardless of men and women, they shouted in unison. "Hello, sister-in-law. Welcome sister-in-law home." Zhang Yuxi was startled by the scene. Then, her shy face instantly turned red to the root of her neck, and she felt dizzy, but her heart was extremely sweet. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's shy look, Lin Feng spoke helplessly. Okay, if my wife gets scared, you guys will pay for it." Provoke. When Lin Feng said this, everyone felt goosebumps all over their bodies, and they felt so jealous of this wave of dog food. Zhang Yuxi was even more shy after hearing Lin Feng's words, thinking, this big bad guy is so disgusting, so embarrassing. Her face became redder and hotter. Lin Feng quickly took the information from his seat and left with Zhang Yuxi. He was afraid that if he stayed for a few more minutes, Zhang Yuxi's face would be so hot that she would burn herself to death. Soon. A day passed. The day of the college entrance examination was getting closer and closer. Looking at the constantly updated time of the college entrance examination on the wall, it was like time peeling off the wall, leaving only a few marks. In the afternoon, Zhang Yuxi read the information Lin Feng gave her. She found that there were not only key information on mathematics, Chinese, and English, but also information on comprehensive liberal arts. Zhang Yuxi was very touched. This idiot was really. He was so good to her. He sorted out all the knowledge points that she was weak in, which she just mentioned casually. Such a boyfriend was really amazing. Zhang Yuxi felt very happy. For an afternoon and an evening, Zhang Yuxi was reading the information that Lin Feng had sorted out. It contained some of Lin Feng's ideas and techniques for solving problems, which were easy to understand. After reading it, Zhang Yuxi felt that her knowledge level had improved more than a little bit in an instant. She looked at Lin Feng's handwriting and gently stroked it, treating it as a treasure. In the evening, after the evening self-study, Lin Feng went to pick up Zhang Yuxi as usual. The people in Zhang Yuxi's class had long been accustomed to Lin Feng's appearance at this time every day. If he didn't show up one day, they would probably care more about him than Zhang Yuxi. As the two walked on the road, Zhang Yuxi suddenly spoke softly. Lin Feng, thank you. Huh? Why do you say thank you suddenly? Lin Feng asked with some confusion. Nothing, just thank you. Zhang Yuxi didn't plan to elaborate. She planned to keep this feeling in her heart for the rest of her life. Little fool, we don't need to say thank you to each other in the future. Lin Feng gently lifted the hair that fell from Zhang Yuxi's forehead and spoke softly. After the two of them were affectionate for a while, Lin Feng sent Zhang Yuxi back to the gate of the community, and he walked home alone. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 863 Wrong Number. The next day, Lin Feng got up early as usual. After washing up, Lin Feng learned to be smart. He first sent a message to Zhang Yuxi to confirm the situation of the enemy. After waiting for a long time, Zhang Yuxi didn't reply. Lin Feng thought, this silly girl, she probably put her phone in her bag again, so she couldn't see the message. He waited for 10 minutes, but still didn't see Zhang Yuxi reply. So he decided to go out first, and then call Zhang Yuxi on the way to see the situation. Lin Feng put his school bag on his body with one hand, humming Jo's song Fireworks Are Easy to Cool in his previous life, and went out. As for Zhang Yuxi put her phone on the sink when she was washing up in the morning for fear of Lin Feng's message. Then Zhang Yuxi saw that her father Zhang Fuiong had also gotten up, and was afraid that Zhang Fuiong would send her again, and she would not be able to have breakfast with Lin Feng, so she hurriedly washed up and went out, but she forgot to take her phone in her hurry. Halfway out of the door, she remembered that she forgot to bring her phone. But thinking that Lin Feng should be here soon, she decided not to go home to get her phone, since it was useless to take her phone to school anyway. She walked a little faster, thinking that she could meet Lin Feng earlier. When Lin Feng was halfway there, he took out his phone and saw that Zhang Yuxi hadn't replied to his message yet. So he decided to call her so that Zhang Yuxi could hear the sound and answer the phone. Lin Feng found Zhang Yuxi's phone number and dialed it. Beep, beep. The phone rang for a long time, and Lin Feng was about to end the call when the call was connected. Hello, wife? Did you put your phone in your bag again and can't see the message I sent? Lin Feng said in one breath as soon as the call was connected. Zhang Fuiong on the other end of the phone frowned. Lin Feng? Question mark. It seems to be a boy. And what does this mean? Question mark. Wife? Question mark. Lin Feng saw that Zhang Yuxi on the other end of the phone didn't speak, so he spoke again. Wife? Why don't you talk? Hello, I'm Zhang Yuxi's father. Who are you looking for? Zhang Fuiong on the other end of the phone heard Lin Feng call his wife again, so he frowned and asked. Lin Feng. Oh, uncle, if I say I just called the wrong number, would you believe it? Lin Feng said weakly with some embarrassment. Oh. Zhang Fuiong replied coldly with a no and hung up the phone. Oh my. It's terrible, this is over. Lin Feng thought to himself, and couldn't help but smile bitterly. He quickened his pace. He had to go see Zhang Yuxi quickly to see what was going on, and then think of a solution together. There was no other way, so he could only admit it. But it was hard for Zhang Yuxi. 5 minutes later, Lin Feng came to the breakfast place, and he saw Zhang Yuxi had already arrived, sitting at the table waiting for Lin Feng to come out. As soon as Lin Feng appeared, Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up and a sweet smile appeared on her face. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's smile and couldn't help thinking, I wonder if Zhang Yuxi will still be able to smile when I tell her this later. Lin Feng came to the chair next to Zhang Yuxi and sat down. Why are you so late today? As soon as Lin Feng sat down, Zhang Yuxi couldn't wait to ask, as if she was going to accuse him. Oh, this is a long story. Let's put it this way, there are two pieces of news, one good news and one bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? Lin Feng said bitterly. Hear the bad news first. Zhang Yuxi thought for a while and said, the bad news is that I sent you a message when I got up early in the morning, but you didn't reply. Then I called you when I was halfway there just now, but it turned out to be your dad who answered the phone. When I answered, I thought it was you, and I called you wife. And the good news is that I didn't call you by your name, I said I called the wrong number, and your dad didn't say anything. Oh, what kind of good news is this? This is terrible. My dad must have known about it, and there was a note in my phone about the message. It's all my fault for forgetting to take my phone. I made such a big mistake, I don't know how to explain it when I go back tonight. Zhang Yuxi thought to herself, with a trace of sadness on her face, but still forced a smile. Silly, it's okay, it's all my fault for forgetting to take my phone, I'll explain it when I go back tonight. Yuxi, if it doesn't work, I'll go and talk to your dad in person. Whether your dad scolds me or beats me, I'll accept it. I won't give up on you, and no one can break us up. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a firm look in his eyes and said. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's firm eyes and was moved. She must convince her parents to agree to let her be with Lin Feng. She reached out and held Lin Feng's hand, her eyes firm. Since the matter was already settled, the two of them would face it calmly together. No matter what, she would not leave Lin Feng. Chapter 864 Are you the pig that took away my cabbages? After breakfast, the two returned to the classroom. Time passed quickly. Zhang Yuxi spent a whole day in entanglement. Lin Feng was also thinking about how to deal with this matter. After thinking for a long time, he couldn't figure it out. So Lin Feng decided to make a phone call and ask his father Lin Dashan for help. Hear if his father has any ideas. After all, parents should understand parents' ideas better. Taking advantage of the break between classes, Lin Feng called his father. Hello, Dad, do you have time? Chat for a while. Lin Feng said. Huh? Brat, what trouble did you cause again? Lin Dashan said casually. Oh. Lin Feng was full of black lines at the moment. My father can't think of anything good, although it is indeed a trouble. Lin Feng muttered in his heart. Dad, I want to ask you a question. I have a friend who is in love with a classmate, and then the girl's parents know about it. How should this be handled? Lin Feng asked cautiously with some trepidation. Making friends out of nothing. The friend you're talking about, isn't it you? You little brat, are you still playing tricks on me? I know what shape your shit will be when you stick your butt out. Lin Dashan said mercilessly. Oh, Dad, don't worry about such details, let's talk seriously. Lin Feng said with embarrassment. His father always speaks so shockingly. Okay, for the sake of your advertising plan last time, I'll teach you a few tricks. Lin Dashan said. His father helps him make plans. Does this count as having a love affair with an imperial decree? His father and mother are so open-minded. This is something Lin Feng didn't expect. In his previous life, when he was in high school, he even hid his secret love carefully, for fear that his father and mother would find out. It seems that he was worrying too much. Hey, you little brat, are you still listening? Lin Dashan on the other end of the phone said loudly into the phone. Up, Dad, I'm listening, go ahead. Lin Feng came back to his senses and said quickly. Well, little brat, let me tell you. In fact, as parents, as long as our children are doing well, we will be satisfied. Just like, even though I don't seem to care about you all day long, when something happens in school, don't I have to clean up your mess? So what you said about your relationship being known to the other party's parents, if the other party's parents say something unpleasant, you should not resist too much? After all, they are just thinking about their daughter, and there is nothing wrong with that. As for how to convince them to agree to your relationship, it depends on you. Put your grades in front of them, and show your determination and attitude, and express that you have the ability to make her happy. By the way, At this critical juncture when the college entrance examination is approaching, you have to promise not to affect each other's studies and the college entrance examination. As long as you tell the other party's parents that you are a sensible, steady, motivated young man with your own ideas, and then appeal to their emotions and reason, I believe that the other party's parents are not unreasonable people. After all, they can see whether their daughter is really happy. Lin Feng said a lot in one breath. After listening to this, Lin Feng felt that he had benefited a lot. It turned out that being a parent requires a different mentality. Although Lin Feng was not young in his previous life, he had only been in love once, so it was impossible for him to understand the feeling of being a parent. Dad, I understand. I know what to do. Lin Feng said thoughtfully. Well, by the way, you little brat, don't just focus on dating. How are your grades? Lin Feng asked. Dad, don't worry. It didn't affect your studies. On the contrary, it got better. I got the first place in the city's unified exam. If you don't believe me, you can call the school to ask. I won't say any more. Class is about to start. I have to go in. The bell rang, and Lin Feng hurriedly finished speaking. Beep beep beep. First place in the city's unified exam. Lin Feng listened to the busy line on the phone and muttered to himself. Lin Feng had already returned to the classroom and sat in his seat. With these words from Lin Feng, Lin Feng knew how to convince Zhang Yuxi's parents. Time passed like crazy. Time is the most valuable, and time is also the least valuable. Soon, the evening self-study class was over, and Lin Feng decided to send Zhang Yuxi home and went upstairs to face Zhang Yuxi's parents. As a man, he couldn't let Zhang Yuxi face all this alone. The two walked on the way home. Zhang Yuxi was uneasy at this time. Lin Feng saw her worry and held her hand tighter. Yuxi, don't worry, I'm here for everything. Lin Feng said softly. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded heavily. Lin Feng's words made her feel a little relieved. As long as Lin Feng was there, her fear and worry were reduced a lot. Unknowingly, the two had passed the gate and came to the downstairs of Zhang Yuxi's community. Zhang Yuxi saw her father Zhang Fuiong standing downstairs in the community waiting for her from a distance. Her heart suddenly rose to her throat, and her heart was pounding. She became nervous and worried in an instant. Lin Feng also saw it. He held Zhang Yuxi's hand tightly and walked towards her. Soon, the two of them walked in front of Zhang Yuxi. Just as Zhang Yuxi was about to speak, she heard her father's voice. Are you the pig that took my cabbage? Zhang Fuiong frowned as he looked at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi holding hands tightly. Yuxi, come here. Zhang Fuiong said with a serious face. Dad, I? Zhang Yuxi was a little nervous and spoke weakly. Yuxi. Come here. Come home with me. Zhang Fuiong was a little angry and said in a higher voice. Zhang Yuxi was silent, holding Lin Feng's hand tightly, showing her determination. Uncle, hello. My name is Lin Feng, I think we should talk. Lin Feng looked directly at Zhang Fuiong and spoke calmly. After all, in his previous life, his relationship with Zhang Fuiong was pretty good. He thought that there should be no problem in contacting him now. Haha, okay, you kid. I haven't settled accounts with you yet, and you still want me to talk? Let's see what you can say. Zhang Fuiong said with a sneer at Lin Feng. He was very angry. His daughter, who had always been well-behaved and obedient, actually disobeyed him for the stinky boy. He was very upset. He raised his daughter with so much effort for so many years, and she was about to be cheated away. He felt very bad. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with some worry on her face. Lin Feng patted her hand gently, indicating that she didn't need to worry. Then he let go of Zhang Yuxi's hand and followed Zhang Fuiong to the side. Chapter 865. Dad agreed. What? You kid, stop talking nonsense here. Yuxi is fine, stop talking nonsense here. Zhang Fuiong was a little shocked, but he didn't believe what Lin Feng said. Uncle Zhang, if you really care about Yuxi enough, you should know that some time ago, Yuxi was silent and depressed every day. That's a state of depression. You have too high expectations of her, or everyone has too high expectations of her. You just think that it's for her good, you want her to go to a good university and lay a solid foundation for her future life. But you all ignore whether Yuxi can withstand such great pressure. Some time ago, she studied frantically every day and was on the verge of collapse. The idea of suicide emerged. She once told me that what is the meaning of life? Lin Feng said slowly. Zhang Fuiong's heart was in turmoil at this time. He recalled that some time ago, Zhang Yuxi was indeed silent every day, with a sad face and anxiety. He had seen it before, but he just thought about it and thought that it was because of the upcoming college entrance examination that Zhang Yuxi was a little nervous and anxious. This was normal, so he didn't think much about it. Recently, he found that the depression on his daughter's face disappeared, and she smiled more than before. She was much more cheerful, and he was a little strange. Unexpectedly, his daughter had the idea of committing suicide. He was scared. If his daughter committed suicide, he would probably never forgive himself in his life. He didn't expect that he, as a parent, had put so much pressure on his daughter. He and his wife only had Zhang Yuxi as a daughter. They had high hopes for Zhang Yuxi since she was a child. They wanted their sons to become dragons and their daughters to become phoenixes. This was the wish of all parents in the world. They were also like this. They educated Zhang Yuxi strictly since she was a child, and she attended various cram schools. And Zhang Yuxi was also quite competitive and had always been a leader among her peers. Unexpectedly. If Lin Feng hadn't said it today, I'm afraid I wouldn't know until I die that my daughter would have such thoughts. He glanced at Zhang Yuxi not far away, and saw the tension and worry on his daughter's little face. He knew that his daughter was serious and emotional. He knew his daughter well. Although she was usually well-behaved, she was actually very stubborn. Once she made up her mind, she would not change it easily. She was the same as himself. Who could he blame? After all, she was his daughter. Zhang Fuiong looked at Lin Feng with a complicated look. Lin Feng knew what he was thinking, so he spoke slowly. I know what Uncle Zhang is worried about. I think Uncle Zhang can rest assured. I know what is important and what is not. Yuxi and I being together will not affect each other's studies. In the citywide mock exam a few days ago, I got first place in the exam with a full score of 750, and Yuxi also ranked 6th in the grade, so Uncle Zhang doesn't have to worry about this. And as for the future, Uncle Zhang doesn't have to worry about it. I have been able to make money on my own for a long time. This is the car I bought myself. I think Uncle Zhang should know what kind of car this is, right? Even if I drop out of school and don't take the college entrance examination now, if I go out to find a job, with my master-level advertising planning skills, I can easily earn $1,000,000 a year. As for my feelings for Yuxi, Uncle Zhang doesn't have to worry about it. You may think that I am still young and don't understand what love is, and there will be all kinds of temptations in the future. Uncle Zhang, please rest assured, I understand all of this, and I also know what I want in my heart. I can assure Uncle Zhang here that I will not marry anyone else but Yuxi in this life, and I will never do anything to let her down. If I can't do it, I will let Uncle Zhang deal with it, and I will have no complaints. Lin Feng spoke for a long time in one breath. At this time, Zhang Fuiong was even more shocked. As a man, he naturally knew what the car keys that Lin Feng had just taken out were. And he got full marks of 750 in the citywide unified examination, and he also had a master-level advertising planner with an annual salary of 1 million. All of this happened to a high school student, which made Zhang Fuiong feel incredible. He was shocked and speechless for a long time. Zhang Fuiong's eyes were even more complicated when he looked at Lin Feng now. Compared with Lin Feng, he felt that he had lived like a dog for most of his life. No, it's not just him. It's the same for other people compared to Lin Feng. Zir. And Lin Feng had said everything, so he didn't know what to say. Zhang Yuxi, who was waiting not far away, saw that the two of them hadn't made any movement for a long time, and she was extremely anxious, worried that her father would take action. She knew her father's temper. She couldn't wait any longer, so she trotted over. Dad, don't scold Lin Feng, it's all your daughter's fault. Zhang Yuxi just ran over and saw the two confronting each other, so she quickly spoke. Zhang Fuiong felt wronged. When did he scold Lin Feng? After all, it was he who was scolded by this brat, wasn't he? Seeing the nervous look on his daughter Zhang Yuxi's face, and that he would rather take all the responsibility to protect this brat, he felt very uncomfortable. Lin Feng stepped forward and gently patted Zhang Yuxi's little hand, indicating that it was okay. Then Zhang Yuxi's nervousness eased a little. Zhang Fuiong saw all this scene. It's uncomfortable. The girl is outgoing, and this little cabbage in his family was abducted just like that. Zhang Fuiong felt extremely bitter. He looked at Zhang Yuxi's serious look and slowly spoke. Yuxi, tell Dad honestly, are you serious with this boy? Yeah, Dad, I'm serious, and I believe Lin Feng is too. Zhang Yuxi nodded fiercely and said seriously. Well, seeing his daughter's serious look, Zhang Fuiong felt helpless. Now Zhang Fuiong just wants his daughter to be happy, and happy. Because of what Lin Feng said just now, he was scared. All along, he had never thought that his daughter would be under so much pressure and depressed. He looked at his daughter, then at Lin Feng, and then at the two of them holding hands tightly, with a helpless look on his face and in his heart. What a beautiful daughter, this stinky boy got it for free. Then he looked at the two of them with a serious face. I won't interfere with your relationship, but you two remember, the college entrance examination is coming soon, don't let this matter affect your studies. Also, you two are adults, you must be responsible for your own actions. Think twice before you do anything. Finally, he turned his head and said to Lin Feng viciously. Boy, you win, but you have to remember, don't bully my daughter. Otherwise, no matter where you hide, I will dig you out and break your 5 limbs. Oh, 5 limbs. Lin Feng showed a bitter smile on his face. It seems that Zhang Fuiong was not so reliable when he was young. Zhang Yuxi didn't hear the ambiguity in Zhang Fuiong's words. She couldn't help showing a hint of excitement on her face. Did her dad agree? Lin Feng nodded seriously and said, Don't worry, Uncle Zhang, I won't. I will do what I promised just now. Well, I hope you remember what you said today. Okay, I'll go upstairs first. Yuxi, you will go up later. Don't be too late. Zhang Fuiong turned and left after he finished speaking. As he walked, he was thinking about how to explain this to his wife later. He was a little troubled. As soon as Zhang Fuiong's figure disappeared, Zhang Yuxi couldn't help but excitedly threw herself into Lin Feng's arms. She was really happy that her dad actually agreed to let her be with Lin Feng. She lay in Lin Feng's arms and was happy for a long time. After a while, Zhang Yuxi looked up at Lin Feng, a little curious about what Lin Feng had just said to her dad. Her dad actually agreed to let them be together. It was incredible. Lin Feng, what did you say to my dad just now? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously. I told Uncle Zhang that I will marry you in this life. If he doesn't agree, I will bother him every day. He is afraid that I will bother him, so he has no choice but to agree. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's little face and said with a smile. Hateful. So frivolous. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. But she didn't ask any more questions. No matter what Lin Feng said, she believed Lin Feng. Besides, her father also agreed. It proved that he recognized Lin Feng, so what else should she worry about? The two of them were affectionate for a while, and it was getting late, so Lin Feng asked Zhang Yuxi to go upstairs. Lin Feng walked back alone, humming a little song, and his face was full of uncontrollable happiness. This matter was perfectly resolved, and he got Zhang Fuiong's tacit consent. In the future, when he was dating Zhang Yuxi, he would no longer have to worry too much. It's true that parents understand parents' thoughts better. These methods taught by his father are really effective. Lin Feng smiled and walked forward with big strides. He kept smiling all the way. Chapter 866, Music School Enrollment? Catcha. Lin Feng opened the door. As soon as he entered the living room, he saw his father Lin Dashan sitting on the sofa watching TV. Dad, why aren't you sleeping so late? Lin Feng said to Lin Dashan while putting down his school bag. Yeah, I'm back. How was your day? Lin Dashan said casually while watching TV. Yeah, not bad. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. Lin Dashan looked at the smile that couldn't be suppressed on Lin Feng's face, and understood in his heart that it seemed that things were handled well, this kid. Oh, by the way, what's the matter with the first place in the citywide unified exam you mentioned today? Lin Dashan suddenly remembered and asked. Oh, that, your son, I got the first place in the citywide high school mock unified exam a few days ago. Lin Feng was in a good mood and said with a smile on his face. Oh, that's good, kid, you are half as good as your dad was back then. How is it? You got the first place, how many points did you get? Lin Dashan boasted and said with a smile. Oh, his father is really narcissistic. Lin Feng laughed in his heart. Not much, not much. I just got a perfect score of 750. Lin Feng also said casually in a Versailles way. Well, not bad, not bad. Well? How many points did you just say? Lin Dashan said with a satisfied look on his face, and then suddenly surprised. Just 750 points. Lin Feng said casually and lightly. Lin Dashan. Just 750. His son is so pretentious, he gave him full marks. Lin Dashan thought speechlessly, he didn't want to talk anymore. Lin Feng smiled and prepared to go back to the room. After walking a few steps, Lin Feng suddenly turned around and said to Lin Dashan with a joking face. "Oh, by the way, Dad, do you still remember the gentleman's agreement? Cherish these last few days to drink." Oh, Lin Dashan glared at him, a little helpless. Unexpectedly, this kid actually rose up. Looking at his cocky look, Lin Dashan wanted to beat him up. "Today, I am really happy." After taking a shower, Lin Feng fell asleep happily. In his dream, he dreamed of the scene of his marriage with Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng couldn't help showing a sweet smile on his sleeping face. The next day, Zhang Yuxi was driven here by her father. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi held hands in front of her father Zhang Fuiong and walked towards the breakfast shop. Zhang Fuiong looked at Lin Feng's arrogant look and really couldn't help wanting to beat this stinky boy. Zhang Fuiong looked at the backs of the two, got into the car, started the engine, and drove away. Out of sight, out of mind, Zhang Fuiong thought to himself, if he continued to watch, he was afraid that he would really be unable to help but beat Lin Feng, this kid, too arrogant. If Lin Feng knew what Zhang Fuiong was thinking, he would definitely shout that he was wronged. He was just like usual, but Zhang Fuiong was unhappy with him because he saw that he had kidnapped his daughter. After the two had breakfast, they returned to school together, returned to their respective classes, and started a new day of struggle. Soon, everyone was immersed in their studies. Others were reviewing the subjects for the college entrance examination, while Lin Feng was also studying at the moment, but he was only studying financial knowledge. There were only a few days left before the college entrance examination, and he had originally planned to convert all the valuable things saved in the system space into liquid funds after the college entrance examination, and invest them in the stock market to make some money. Later, when he went to college, he would have more places to spend money, not like now. Although he had the master-level ability of investment and financial management given by the system. But he was bored and wanted to understand the current market situation first, in case of emergency. "Lin Feng, come out." At this time, the class teacher He-song called at the door of the classroom. Lin Feng came back to his senses and was a little confused, but he had to put down the book in his hand and got up to go out. "Teacher He, are you looking for me?" Lin Feng saw a few people dressed fashionably, standing at the door with He-song, so he asked respectfully, giving He-song enough face. "Well, Lin Feng, these are the staff of the admissions office of the Beijing Film Academy and Conservatory of Music, and they want to talk to you," He-song said. "Hello, Lin Feng. My last name is Chen, you can call me Teacher Chen." One of the men, who was not handsome but dressed neatly and had the temperament of a musician, spoke. "Hello, Teacher Chen, hello, all the teachers." Lin Feng called politely. After saying hello, the teacher surnamed Chen did not waste words, he spoke directly to Lin Feng. "Lin Feng, would you consider the Beijing Film Academy and Conservatory of Music?" Chapter 867 What kind of magical operation is this? Beijing Film Academy Conservatory of Music? Hearing these words, Lin Feng was a little surprised. This school is one of the best art schools in China. But why did the people from this school come to me? If it was because I got a perfect score of 750, then they should have come to Tsinghua University, Peking University, Shangdan University and other schools to find me. Lin Feng was very confused. Just as he was about to speak. At this time, the phone of the class owner He-song rang. He-song apologized and walked to the side to answer the phone. "Student Lin Feng, our Beijing Film Academy Conservatory of Music is a well-known art school in the country. Not only can you develop in the field of music, but you can also develop in the field of film. This is a very good choice for the development of your future life." Teacher Chen from the Beijing Film Academy Conservatory of Music began to talk about the situation of the school. "Teacher Chen, sorry to interrupt, I don't seem to have applied for art schools in advance, why did you find me?" Lin Feng asked with some doubts. "Oh, classmate Lin Feng, don't you know? You are now a celebrity on the internet," Teacher Chen said with some doubts. Seeing that Lin Feng seemed to really not know, he continued. "Student Lin Feng, your previous street singing video went viral on the internet. Everyone wants you to debut directly. Various art schools are asking for your information. We just happen to have someone in Shanghai who got to know your situation first, So we came here. Teacher Chen patiently explained to Lin Feng. Oh, so that's how it is. The college entrance examination is coming soon. I've been busy with my studies recently and haven't paid much attention to things on the internet. Lin Feng understood. So that's how it is. Although he heard about this from Lao Jiang and Min and others last time, he forgot about it afterwards. Just when Teacher Chen from the Beijing Film Academy and Conservatory of Music was about to further introduce the situation of the school to Lin Feng, Song came back with a mobile phone in his hand. He looked at the teacher and said, "Teacher Chen, I'm sorry. The call just now was from the principal. He said that several art schools will soon come to the school. Well, they are all here for him." Song pointed at Lin Feng and said, "The principal wants to ask you to move to the conference room, and then everyone sits down and talks in detail. In the end, it depends on Lin Feng's choice. What do you think?" Song said slowly. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Lin Feng is really a man who has changed after 3 days of absence. He just rejected the recommendation for admission to Peking University and Tsinghua University, and now a bunch of famous art schools in China have come to grab him in advance. Tisk tisk tisk. I used to think that this boy was just good at organizing and doing things. Unexpectedly, I was wrong. Okay. Then I'll trouble Teacher He to lead the way. Teacher Chen from Beijing Film Academy said politely. He thought to himself that he was still a little late. The competition is a little bigger now, and he doesn't know if the conditions given by the school can surpass those of other schools. Oh, why didn't anyone ask for my opinion? I didn't want to go to an art school. Lin Feng muttered in his heart. Was he arranged like this? Question mark. Lin Feng followed everyone to the school's conference room in a daze. At this time, there were already more than a dozen people sitting inside. When everyone saw the real owner was here, they all looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng felt a little painful from the burning eyes of the crowd. You are so enthusiastic that I will be embarrassed to say no to you later. But sorry, there is no way. I don't want to go to an art school. After everyone sat down one by one, each art school introduced its own situation and the generous conditions for recruiting Lin Feng. One of the art schools even offered a 1.5 million yuan annual subsidy, which shocked Lin Feng. Although he is now considered a rich man, a 1 million yuan annual subsidy, it turns out that art special recruits are so popular? Exclamation mark. If other art special recruits knew Lin Feng's thoughts, they would probably want to cry. Art students are originally a major that burns money. It's good enough that you don't have to pay to get in. How can you be invited back like Lin Feng? Lin Feng can be said to be an exception. In fact, Lin Feng misunderstood. Ordinary special recruits don't have such treatment. Lin Feng is currently very popular on the internet, so popular that he can debut directly. Moreover, from the video, it can be seen that his singing ability is really too strong, so he has such treatment. The conditions offered by the Beijing Film Academy and Conservatory of Music, which Lin Feng had just talked with at the door of the classroom, were quite normal. They offered a one-time reward of 100,000 yuan, exemption of all tuition and miscellaneous fees for 4 years of university, and a monthly subsidy of 20,000 yuan for living expenses. Lin Feng would be given priority for performance opportunities. Such conditions were neither good nor bad. After all, the name of the Beijing Film Academy was there, and many big stars had come out of the academy. After entering, he would be an alumnus and junior of the big stars, and he would have seniors to take care of him in the future, and his career would be easier. Unfortunately, all this was not what Lin Feng wanted. So Lin Feng looked at everyone and spoke slowly. Dear teachers, art schools are not in line with my personal future life plan, so I'm sorry to have made you run this trip in vain. Everyone. In the conference room, everyone was silent. The atmosphere was a little awkward. After a while, Lin Feng took the lead in speaking to break the awkwardness. Dear teachers, if there is nothing else, I will go out first. I still have to review. Wow. Student Lin Feng, are you really not going to consider it again? We can still discuss the conditions. The teacher of Tsinghua Conservatory of Music stood up and said unwillingly. I'm sorry, teacher, I really don't consider art schools. Thank you for your kindness. Singing is just my hobby. If there's a chance, I can cooperate with you teachers on a song. As for the rest, I'm really sorry. Thank you teachers for your kindness. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he turned around and left the meeting room. Huh? Lin Feng took a deep breath after walking out of the door of the meeting room. The road of artistic interpretation is really not what Lin Feng wants. In this life, Lin Feng just wants to live freely according to his own ideas. Being a star is too restrictive. Not to mention other things, just a groundless celebrity scandal. What would Zhang Yuxi think? So Lin Feng really doesn't want to go this way. And everyone in the meeting room was silent. Such a good seedling, it's a pity. Everyone is extremely sorry. And the class owner He-song couldn't bear to see everyone's depressed look. So he spoke. Teachers, don't be so depressed. This kid just rejected the school's admission to Tsinghua University and Peking University without examination yesterday. Everyone. Oh my. What kind of fairy operation is this? Young people nowadays don't understand. Think about it, do you feel better? He-song said with a smile. He did it on purpose. He couldn't just make himself feel bad, he also wanted to make others feel bad. This disgusting smell was really speechless. Chapter 868, Don't fear the future, don't think about the past. After returning to the classroom. As soon as Lin Feng sat down, his desk mate Zhang Anmin came over and said in a mean way. Hey, Brother Feng. I heard that several art schools are trying to snatch you. Well, I rejected them all. Lin Feng said casually. What? Brother Feng, why? Are the conditions they offer not good? Zhang Anmin was surprised. No, the conditions are quite good. One school even offered a subsidy of 1.5 million yuan per year. Lin Feng said lightly. What? 1.5 million a year, 4 years is 6 million. Brother Feng. You actually rejected it. Zhang Anmin suddenly jumped up and said excitedly. This attracted the attention of everyone in the classroom. Fortunately, this was a free review class and there was no teacher, otherwise Zhang Anmin would have criticized him. Brother Feng, why? This is 6 million, how many people can't make money in their lifetime? Zhang Anmin acted as if it was him, more excited than Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at his excitement and said helplessly. I don't want to be an actor or singer, so I refused. There is no other reason. Zhang Anmin was speechless for a while. He is talented but willful. Seeing him like this, Lin Feng thought of giving him another blow with evil taste. Oh, by the way, I also refused the school's admission to Tsinghua University and Peking University without examination yesterday. Lin Feng said casually, as if he was talking about something casual. Fuck. This time, old Zhang Anmin yelled directly. This time, all the eyes of the whole classroom were attracted. Everyone was curious about what happened to make old Zhang Anmin so excited one after another. Old Zhang, what happened? Why are you so excited with strange screams one after another? Someone asked Zhang Anmin. Zhang Anmin was still in shock, and he woke up after hearing this. He thought, I can't be the only one shocked. He wants everyone to be shocked. See who dares to say that he is crazy. Well, sorry, classmates, it's mainly because this matter is too shocking, there's nothing I can do. Zhang Anmin pretended to be embarrassed and said, arousing everyone's interest. No, Lao Zhang, what's the matter? You are so excited, tell me. Yes, yes. Everyone echoed. Anyway, reading was interrupted, why not listen to gossip to change the mood, everyone thought to themselves. It's like this, wasn't Brother Feng called out by the class teacher just now? Several teachers from art schools came to grab Brother Feng, after all, our Brother Feng's singing level is beyond doubt, isn't it? But, guess what? At this point, Zhang Anmin deliberately paused. Everyone looked curious and a little anxious. Hurry up, Lao Zhang, why are you still keeping it a secret? Everyone said anxiously. Hey, our Brother Feng rejected all of them. Even one of them offered a tuition subsidy of 1.5 million per year as long as Brother Feng went to school. That's 6 million for 4 years. Our Brother Feng rejected it. Do you think I'm excited? Everyone. Fuck, 6 million. What's the concept? Brother Feng, what kind of operation is this? Everyone was speechless. Hey, this is not over yet. Zhang Anmin continued. Old Zhang, can you say it all at once? Everyone rolled their eyes and said. Hey, don't get excited, don't get excited. Also, our school wanted to recommend Brother Feng to Tsinghua University and Peking University without taking the entrance exam, but Brother Feng also refused. Wow. What the hell? What kind of operation is this? Why don't I understand? Brother Feng, you are so sexy. Lin Feng looked at the crowd and said, what do you mean I am so sexy? Where am I sexy? Lin Feng smiled helplessly. Brother Feng, you promised to sing a song for us last time, how about singing now? Jiang Anman suddenly remembered this and said, "Yes, yes. Brother Feng, we want to listen." The whole class was cheering. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone to check the time. There were only a few minutes before the get out of class was over. Whatever. Since everyone is so enthusiastic, let's sing a song. After all, it is not a good thing to let such a system endow such an excellent ability and let it be covered in dust. Lin Feng, looking at the expectant expressions of everyone, said, "Okay, then sing a song." Woo. Yes. Finally, I can listen to the great God singing in person. Everyone was excited. Lin Feng looked around the whole classroom. There was no other equipment in the whole classroom except the computer and microphone on the podium for class. In this case, let's sing an existing song. Lin Feng thought about it and suddenly thought of a more inspirational song, which was more in line with the mood of everyone who was about to take the college entrance examination. Lin Feng stood up and walked to the podium. Fortunately, the computers in the classroom were connected to the internet, so he found the accompaniment of the song, "The Brightest Star in the Night Sky," on the internet. Soon, the lyrics of the song appeared on the projector. Lin Feng looked at the slightly immature faces of the students in the audience and said softly, "The college entrance examination is coming soon. I hope everyone can get into the ideal university in their minds. This song, "The Brightest Star in the Night Sky," is for everyone. I hope everyone will no longer be confused about the future." As soon as Lin Feng finished speaking, the accompaniment of music slowly sounded in the classroom. Lin Feng took the microphone that teachers usually used for class, feeling the emotional rhythm of the song in his mind, and his fingers gently followed the accompaniment and beat rhythmically on the podium. "The brightest star in the night sky, can you hear it clearly? The loneliness and sigh in the heart of the person looking up." Lin Feng's low and magnetic voice slowly sounded, and the low singing voice that sounded like a whisper in the ear made people quiet down all of a sudden, and everyone was immersed in it. The music continued, and the accompaniment changed key and began to rise. Lin Feng's voice also rose, and everyone's heart tightened. "I pray to have a transparent heart and eyes that can shed tears. Give me the courage to believe again, to embrace you beyond the lies, whenever I can't find the meaning of existence, whenever I get lost in the night. The brightest star in the night sky, please guide me to get closer to you." Lin Feng's magnetic voice hit everyone's heart like a bullet, and everyone's heart was filled with an inexplicable emotion. The song was sometimes gentle and sometimes high, as if telling all the emotions in everyone's heart. At this time, the get out of class was over, and everyone was immersed in Lin Feng's singing without knowing it. Lin Feng's singing attracted the attention of other classes. Soon, the corridor and the classroom door were full of people, and everyone was immersed in the song. Lin Feng also integrated his own feelings, and the memories of the last life were like a breeze, rubbed into the lyrics and vented. The song continued. "The brightest star in the night sky, do you care? Wait for the sun to rise, or the accident to come first. I would rather keep all the pain in my heart than forget your eyes. Give me the courage to believe again, to embrace you beyond the lies. Whenever I can't find the meaning of existence, whenever I get lost in the night, the brightest star in the night sky, please light my way forward." The last line of the lyrics ends. Everyone is still immersed in the world created by the song and can't extricate themselves. Some people's eyes are red, some people clench their fists, and some people have already burst into tears. Yes, who has never been confused? Everyone has been confused and hesitant, and 8 out of 10 things in life are not satisfactory. Everyone has their own persistence and fragility in their hearts. At this moment, they are aroused by Lin Feng's singing, as if their emotions have found an outlet for venting, and they can't help themselves. There was a long silence. Lin Feng slowly broke away from the brewing emotions and bowed slightly to everyone. "Thank you." Everyone woke up from the world they were immersed in. I don't know who took the lead, and the applause rang out. Whether it was the people in the classroom or the people outside the classroom, they all applauded vigorously, and the applause could not subside for a long time. The teachers from the music schools who had arrived at the classroom door at some point sighed in their hearts. Such a pity for the heavenly sound. Lin Feng had made up his mind and was not interested in this, so they could only sigh. Lin Feng had returned to his position at this time, and he vented his emotions from his previous life along with his singing. At this moment, Lin Feng felt relieved. Although he did not show that he had lived a new life, he had always felt a little out of tune with this world. Until this moment, Lin Feng truly belonged to this world. Not afraid of the future, not thinking about the past. Chapter 869, Buying a Diamond Ring. Time flies. The commotion caused by Lin Feng's singing was only spread in a small circle in the school. Some people secretly recorded the video of Lin Feng singing, and it is estimated that it will soon spread on the internet. But Lin Feng didn't care about all this. He just wanted to finish today's class quickly. He had to do something that he had delayed for many days. After finally getting through the noon get out of class, Lin Feng sent a message to Zhang Yuxi, saying that he had something to go home for, and asked her to have lunch with her classmates and not wait for him. After sending the message, Lin Feng walked out of the school gate and took a taxi to go home. However, after Lin Feng returned to the community, he did not go upstairs, but went straight to the parking lot. Ding ding. Lin Feng opened the door of his Ferrari 488 and got in. Started the engine. Boom. The car roared away. Lin Feng drove all the way to the city center. 20 minutes later, the figure of Ferrari 488 appeared in the parking lot of Huajing building. Yes, this is where Lin Feng came to pick up the car for the first time. After Lin Feng parked the car, he took the elevator to the third-floor shopping mall. Today he had to do one thing, that is, to fulfill his promise and confess to Zhang Yuxi that he temporarily used a can ring. Now that so many days have passed, it is time to turn it into a real ring. After singing the song The Brightest Star in the Night Sky in the classroom this morning, Lin Feng's heart became more determined what he wanted in this life, and Zhang Yuxi was his weakness in this life. Ling. The elevator door opened and arrived at the third floor. Lin Feng followed the signs and soon came to the jewelry store area. There are Cartier stores, Tiffany stores, Bulgari, and so on. As a new commercial center, Huajing building almost includes all well-known brands. The dazzling array of stores made Lin Feng not know how to choose. At this time, Lin Feng remembered a popular store in his previous life, the DR ring store that claimed that men could only customize one ring in their lifetime. So Lin Feng started looking for it and finally found the store in a corner. Lin Feng walked in. Welcome. The beautiful waitress in charge of reception at the door saw Lin Feng, her eyes lit up, and she said enthusiastically. Lin Feng looked at the many rings and didn't know which one to choose for a while. Hello, sir, do you need an engagement ring or a couple ring? The beautiful waitress saw that Lin Feng had difficulty choosing, so she spoke enthusiastically. Oh, couple rings. Lin Feng said. It doesn't seem appropriate to buy an engagement ring now. Let's buy a couple ring first. As for the time of marriage, he naturally needs to make plans. At that time, he will give Zhang Yuxi a grand wedding, something to remember for a lifetime, and this DR doesn't seem to be suitable. Sir, if it's a couple ring, I suggest you choose a drawer of a series of couple rings. This one is more suitable for couples to wear. The waitress introduced enthusiastically. Well, take them all out and let me see. Lin Feng said casually. Okay, sir. The waitress immediately went to get it. Although Lin Feng was dressed very simply and ordinary at this time, the waiter did not neglect him. Nowadays, rich people are too low-key. Maybe he is a rich man. After all, rich people nowadays like to pretend to be poor when they go out. I don't know where this bad taste comes from. Like those local landlords in Guangdong province. They just wear big shorts and flip-flops when they go out. They look very casual, but they own dozens of buildings and collect rent. The monthly rent can reach hundreds of thousands. In a year, they can earn millions without doing anything. Thinking of this, the beautiful waitress came over with a bunch of rings. Hello, sir. Our drawer of our series of couple rings are all here, please take a look. The waitress in black silk walked to Lin Feng and said enthusiastically. Lin Feng took a look and they were all pretty good. In the end, Lin Feng chose one that looked simpler and plainer. It was not expensive, just over 30,000 yuan per ring, and 2 rings together were just 70,000 yuan. After all, he and Zhang Yuxi were still students, so it was right to be low-key. As for the size of Zhang Yuxi's ring, Lin Feng had already secretly memorized it for this day. Lin Feng took out his ID card, signed the true love commitment letter, then swiped his card to pay, took the ring packed by the waiter and left. Only the beautiful waitress was left standing there, sighing. Sure enough, the rich people nowadays have bad tastes. Lin Feng, dressed as a student, casually spent 70,000 yuan without blinking an eye. Fortunately, I didn't look at people through the crack of the door. Lin Feng returned to the car with the ring gift box. He took out the ring and looked at it, then looked at the signed true love commitment letter, and couldn't help but smile happily. He took out the ring separately, taped it and put it in his pocket. He wanted to give Zhang Yuxi a surprise tonight. Boom. Lin Feng drove out quickly and disappeared in the underground parking lot of Huijin building in an instant. When Lin Feng drove back to the vicinity of the school, he felt a pang of hunger in his stomach. It was almost 2 o'clock, and he had forgotten that he hadn't eaten yet. So he parked the car on the side of the road and found a restaurant at random, planning to have lunch first. It was almost time for afternoon classes, and many students were rushing to school. Lin Feng's Ferrari parked on the roadside quickly attracted the attention of passers-by. Oh my god. Ferrari 488 Pistaspiter. There are not many in China, but I can see it in Magic. This car is so handsome. I like it so much. This car costs 5 or 6 million, who doesn't like it? The color of this car is really sexy. I love it. I must buy one when I have money in the future. No, buy two. One to drive and one to keep. People surrounded Lin Feng's Ferrari 488 Pistaspiter and kept taking pictures. They wanted to touch it carefully, but they were afraid that they couldn't afford to pay for it if they broke it. After a while, everyone left reluctantly because class was about to start. Lin Feng in the restaurant didn't know what was happening at all. He was eating his food with relish. He was really hungry. After eating and drinking, Lin Feng looked at the time. It was about time for class, so he quickly paid the bill and left the restaurant. Lin Feng thought about it and drove to a parking lot near the school. After all, he had to park until the evening. If he parked on the roadside, he might get a ticket. Although the fine was not a big deal, he found it troublesome. After parking the car, Lin Feng quickly went back to the classroom. As soon as Lin Feng entered the classroom, the bell rang. Huh. It's really punctual. Lin Feng smiled and thought to himself. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 870 Love only one person in your life? An afternoon passed quickly as teachers from various subjects reviewed the test papers. Lin Feng sent a message to Zhang Yuxi, asking her to wait for him at the door of the classroom and go to dinner together. After sending the message, Lin Feng cleaned up the table and was about to leave. Brother Feng, let's go and have dinner together. Zhang Yanmin, his desk mate, said to Lin Feng. You go first, I have to wait for Yuxi. Lin Feng said casually. Zhang Yanmin. Well, I shouldn't ask you, I'm full of dog food. Zhang Yanmin, the old ginger, said with a sour face, as if he had eaten a few pounds of lemons. Seeing his look, Lin Feng felt helpless and had to roll his eyes at him, and then ignored him. Zhang Yanmin might say something shocking later. Lin Feng got up and walked towards Zhang Yuxi's classroom. Zhang Yuxi had already prepared to wait for Lin Feng at the door. As soon as she saw Lin Feng, Zhang Yuxi's whole face bloomed with a bright smile. Seeing her cute look, Lin Feng couldn't help but stepped forward and rubbed her head. Hateful. You messed up my hair. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Lin Feng smiled and took back his hand. The two walked towards the cafeteria while talking and laughing. By the way, where did you go at noon today? Zhang Yuxi asked. Me? I went shopping with a girl at noon. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and couldn't help but want to tease her. Huh? Zhang Yuxi's face darkened. I'll give you another chance to reorganize your words. Where did you go? Zhang Yuxi pouted. Okay, I was just teasing you. There was something going on at home at noon, so I went back. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's little face and said. You're still shopping with a girl. You dare not even stand up to me. Zhang Yuxi's little face regained a smile and said with a hum. The two soon arrived at the cafeteria. There were many people in the cafeteria. The two were like drops of water mixed into the sea, without causing any waves. Lin Feng went to line up for food, while Zhang Yuxi went to find a seat. After Lin Feng lined up for food, Zhang Yuxi stood up and waved to Lin Feng, like a wife waiting for her husband to return. Lin Feng smiled and walked towards Zhang Yuxi. The two ate and talked, and Zhang Yuxi showed a sweet smile from time to time. This scene was seen by everyone, and everyone was envious. Love at this time was simple, pure and beautiful. Everyone wants to have a sweet love, and campus love is like this, sweet and beautiful, envied by others. In ordinary and simple days, having you by my side is enough. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a sweet smile, and couldn't help thinking in his heart. Wife, We'll leave after class tonight. Take you for a ride tonight to change your mood. Lin Feng touched the ring in his pocket, and suddenly said with a move in his heart. Okay. Zhang Yuxi didn't think much about it, and agreed with a smile. After the two finished their meal, they walked for a while on the tree-lined path in the campus. After taking a walk, they returned to the classroom and continued to review. Time is getting shorter and shorter. There are only 5 days left for the college entrance examination marked on the wall. A strong atmosphere of the college entrance examination permeates everyone's heart. Time waits for no one. Zhang Yuxi thought about it and threw herself into the ocean of exercises. Since Lin Feng gave up the recommendation to Tsinghua University and Peking University for her, she would be admitted to Tsinghua University and Peking University, not for anything else, just for Lin Feng. The power of love is great. It can make people tireless and surpass themselves. Ding-ling-ling. The bell for the end of the evening self-study get out of class rang. It indicates that the study of the day is over. Many students in the classroom are reluctant to leave and are still studying hard for a while. Lin Feng looked at the time, packed up his things and walked out of the classroom door quietly, not wanting to affect other students' review. When he walked to class 1 of Senior 3, Zhang Yuxi was already waiting at the door of the classroom. And Lin Feng looked into their classroom. There were still many people in the classroom studying hard. Lin Feng smiled, not wanting to worry about what others thought. He went forward and took Zhang Yuxi's hand. Zhang Yuxi blushed a little at Lin Feng's action. Although she was used to holding hands with him, this was at the door of the classroom. She didn't know if her classmates saw it. She was so embarrassed. Lin Feng held her hand and asked softly, "Will it affect your review if we leave so early?" "It's okay. I've almost finished reviewing today. Don't worry." Zhang Yuxi also answered softly. The two walked hand in hand in the campus. The night was cool and seemed a little quiet. Soon they walked to where Lin Feng parked his car. Zhang Yuxi was a little curious. It turned out that Lin Feng drove the car to the school. No wonder he said he wanted to take her for a ride. After the two got on the car, Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi fasten her seat belt, and the two set off. Boom! Boom! A roar like a beast sounded, like a thunder, resounding throughout the night. The front of the Ferrari 488 Pistaspeder suddenly jumped forward and rushed into the night, leaving only the roar of the sports car engine. 2 minutes later, Lin Feng drove the car onto the ramp to Qingchang Mountain. The car drove slowly on the winding mountain road, and the breeze at night blew. As always, it could eliminate people's fatigue for the day. Zhang Yuxi was sitting in the co-pilot, and at this moment, she was also enjoying the relaxation brought by this moment. The days of study really made her body and mind overwhelmed and a little tired. Huh? Zhang Yuxi closed her eyes and felt a breeze in the mountains, and took a long breath. The feeling at this moment was really relaxing. Soon, Lin Feng drove the car to the parking lot of the scenic spot where he parked last time. The two strolled in the scenic area and felt a breath of nature. Lin Feng, I suddenly envy the life of the ancients who picked chrysanthemums under the eastern fence and leisurely saw the southern mountains. Zhang Yuxi suddenly spoke softly. Little fool, what are you thinking about? We are still young and in our prime. Such days are comfortable, but they will only wear down people's fighting spirit. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose and said. Seeing the disappointed expression on Zhang Yuxi's face, Lin Feng continued. If you really like it, I think when we are old and retired, we will find a small village at the foot of Qingchang Mountain, build a few small houses, raise a few chickens, and work from sunrise to sunset. Zhang Yuxi's little face instantly regained its light and said happily. Really? Lin Feng, you are so nice. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's happy look, and he became happy too. Then the two of them walked through the darkness, through the bamboo forest, and came to Lin Feng's secret base. It is as beautiful as ever, and as beautiful as ever. The wildflowers in June exude bursts of fragrance. The mountain breeze at night blows, and the fragrance floats in the wind, which not only attracts people but also attracts bees and butterflies. Many small butterflies and bees were circling the blooming wildflowers, and the buzzing sound seemed extremely moving in the sultry night. Yuxi, close your eyes. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was excited, and said softly. Zhang Yuxi didn't think much about it, thinking that Lin Feng wanted her to close her eyes and feel the beauty of the moment. Lin Feng took out a prepared ring from his pocket, turned to face Zhang Yuxi, and knelt on one knee. Although it was not a proposal, courtship also requires a sense of ritual. Yuxi, open your eyes. Lin Feng said softly. When Zhang Yuxi heard Lin Feng's words, her eyelashes trembled, and she slowly opened her eyes. The moment she opened her eyes, she saw Lin Feng kneeling on one knee in front of her with a ring in his hand. She was stunned. She covered her cherry mouth with both hands, her eyes wide open. Yuxi, this is the couple ring we agreed to buy on the day you agreed to be my girlfriend. Although it's not a proposal, it's also a testimony of our love and a token of our love. Wearing it is equivalent to wearing our promise to each other. No matter where we go, we will be together. This DR diamond ring can only be purchased once in a man's life, and he must sign a true love commitment. I think this is very suitable for us, and it is also my promise to you, Lin Feng. I will only love one person in my life, and that's you, Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with loving eyes and said gently. Zhang Yuxi's eyes were already full of tears at this moment. She was really moved, really moved. Lin Feng's love for her made her feel good all the time. She felt that she had met her Mr. Right. Wife, let your husband help you put on this ring. Lin Feng said. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded vigorously and stretched out her right hand. Lin Feng gently put the ring on her right middle finger. Wearing the ring on the right middle finger means being in love. Please do not disturb, wife, put it on for your husband too. Lin Feng said softly. Okay, husband. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said while helping Lin Feng put on the ring. Wife, what did you just say? Lin Feng was a little excited and incoherent. Old husband. Zhang Yuxi blushed and whispered softly. Ah. Lin Feng picked up Zhang Yuxi and spun her in the air, laughing loudly. Ha ha ha. He was extremely happy and excited like a child. There was nothing he could do. This was the first time Zhang Yuxi called him like that. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's silly look and felt very sweet in her heart. After spinning several times, Zhang Yuxi was almost dizzy, and she spoke softly. Okay, put me down quickly, my head is about to be dizzy. Oh, sorry, wife, I'm too excited. Lin Feng said a little embarrassedly. Silly. Zhang Yuxi lay in Lin Feng's arms and looked up at Lin Feng's silly look, and said coquettishly. The two of them spent some time together. Seeing that it was getting late, Lin Feng prepared to return to take Zhang Yuxi home. Otherwise, if he was late, he was afraid that Zhang Yuxi's father Zhang Fuiong would really break his limbs. After picking up the car, Lin Feng opened the window. Slowing down the car, the two of them drove slowly while chatting. Zhang Yuxi sat in the passenger seat and touched the couple ring on her right hand. She felt sweet in her heart, as if she was looking at a treasure. Chapter 871 Wild Racing. At night, on the winding mountain road, there was no car, and it seemed particularly quiet. Lin Feng was a little confused, but he didn't think too much about it, and he still drove down the mountain. Boom. At this moment, a modified sports car suddenly rushed up. The speed was very fast, and it surpassed Lin Feng's Ferrari in an instant. Following closely behind was an Audi A8, which was also very fast. Then there were several various sports cars, all of which were very fast. Squeak. I saw a Porsche 911 brake suddenly, slowing down the speed to be on par with Lin Feng's Ferrari 488. I saw the driver's window of the Porsche 911 was slowly lowered. The owner was a non-mainstream teenager with strange clothes and yellow hair. Beep beep. The yellow-haired boy stuck his head out of the window and whistled at Lin Feng, then slowly said, Hey, brother, it's a Ferrari 488, it's a good car. Are you interested in a competition? The yellow-haired boy said in a frivolous tone. Lin Feng glanced at him indifferently, and then looked at Zhang Yuxi in the passenger seat. Although he also wanted to experience the feeling of extreme speed, he still had to consider Zhang Yuxi's feelings. Just as he was about to open his mouth to refuse, the crisp voice of the system suddenly rang in his mind. Ding. Triggering system task, high-speed racing on the winding mountain road, choice 1, accept the challenge of the yellow-haired boy and have a real man's high-speed racing race, and you will immediately receive the master-level skill reward of car driving technology. Choice 2, reject the challenge of the yellow-haired boy. Get the title of coward. Note 1, driving skills will be obtained through memory transmission and muscle memory assistance, and will be upgraded on the basis of the host's original car driving skills. The master-level car driving skills surpass professional racers and can ignore any venue environment and perfectly exert the performance of the car to the extreme. The yellow-haired boy saw that Lin Feng didn't speak, and looked at him with contempt. Hey, can you please say something? If you are a man, do it. Otherwise, you are garbage. Waste. Coward. After saying that, he raised his middle finger to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was furious, but was hesitant because of Zhang Yuxi. Before Lin Feng could speak, Zhang Yuxi suddenly said angrily, "What's wrong with you? You're still swearing." Lin Feng, promise him. Her little face was red with anger and excitement. "Oh, Yuxi, aren't you afraid of speeding?" Lin Feng didn't expect Zhang Yuxi to say that, so he asked. "I'm afraid, but this person's words are too irritating, and he also scolds you. I can't stand him scolding you. As long as you're here, I'm not afraid. I believe in you." Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng seriously and said, it can be seen that she was really angry. It just so happened that Lin Feng was also angry, and the master-level car driving skills. Let's teach this young yellow-haired boy a lesson. Lin Feng turned his head to the yellow-haired boy and said indifferently. "Then do it." As soon as the voice fell, the yellow-haired boy's Porsche 911 accelerated instantly. With a step on the accelerator, the engine of the Porsche 911 roared, and the car body roared forward. This guy is still running ahead. He is not trustworthy. Humph. It's so annoying. Zhang Yuxi looked at the yellow-haired boy sneaking up and running ahead, and said angrily, her little face was red with anger, and her chest was heaving up and down. "Wife, don't be angry, there is no need, let him take 2 steps, so what?" Lin Feng comforted. Lin Feng, who has master-level car driving skills, didn't panic him at all. "Wife, sit tight." After Lin Feng finished speaking, he stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The roar of the Ferrari exploded instantly on the spot, and rushed forward like a flash of lightning. The car window rolled up, and the engine of the Ferrari 488 roared. Lin Feng looked ahead attentively, holding the steering wheel tightly with both hands, and his feet never left the accelerator, and he kept pressing it to the bottom. The surrounding scene quickly retreated backwards. Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator with all his strength, speeding all the way, and soon the first bend on the winding mountain road was in front of him. The yellow-haired boy's Porsche 911 was still half a car body ahead of Lin Feng. The 2 cars rushed into a large curved curve at a super-fast speed, one after the other. Lin Feng did a tailspin, and the beautiful drifting action was completed. Lin Feng's Ferrari 488 instantly caught up with the yellow-haired boy's Porsche 911. The 2 cars almost slid out of the curve closely together, and the violently rotating wheels burst into a strong friction sound. The sound was particularly harsh but had a different charm. The rapidly rotating tires swept up some fine sand and dust on the ground. At this time, Zhang Yuxi, who was sitting in the co-pilot, had a pale face and her heart was in her throat. However, she looked at Lin Feng's focused eyes, and the fear in her heart seemed to be weakened a little. She clenched her fists, feeling a little excited and a little scared. After the curve, there was a straight line. Lin Feng's Ferrari 488 and the yellow-haired Porsche 911 both stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The yellow-haired Porsche 911 was modified, and the performance defects were made up. The 2 sides chased each other, almost in the same breath. After the straight line, there was the most thrilling 5 consecutive bends on the Qingcheng Mountain winding road. The 5 consecutive bends were right in front of him. The yellow-haired boy slowed down a little. After all, this 5 consecutive bends was the most dangerous section of the road. If he was not careful, the car might be destroyed and people might die. Even if the yellow-haired boy was confident in his driving skills, he did not dare to step on the accelerator to pass the bend. Seeing that the yellow-haired boy slowed down, Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator to the bottom, and the Ferrari engine roared like a beast. That's right, Lin Feng, who had the master-level car driving skills given by the system, was not afraid at all. He planned to pass the 5 consecutive bends at full speed. Is this guy crazy? He didn't slow down but accelerated to pass the bend. Even if the first bend was relatively wide, it would be impossible to rush through it at such a fast speed. He would hit the guardrail. Is the car out of control? The yellow-haired boy said in disbelief. The yellow-haired boy looked at the Ferrari 488 that was almost on par with him and even surpassed him a little bit. His face changed drastically, and sweat broke out on his palms. Seeing Lin Feng rushing into the first bend at full speed. He can't turn at such a fast speed. Is the car out of control? It's going to crash into us. The yellow-haired boy muttered to himself. Is Lin Feng really crazy? Of course not. Lin Feng continued to step on the accelerator to the bottom. The car running at full speed could not withstand such a sudden change in speed. It shook uncontrollably and was about to crash into the guardrail on the side of the road. Zhang Yuxi's little face was full of fear, and she almost shouted out. However, Lin Feng did not panic or fear at all. His hands and feet moved at an extremely fast speed, as swift and powerful as a robot that had practiced thousands of times. In just 0.1 seconds, Lin Feng pushed the steering wheel frantically. At the moment when the speed of the car changed, he stepped on the accelerator again. The Ferrari 488 was close to the guardrail, with less than a centimeter left. Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator again, and the car quickly returned to the correct direction, rushing out like a flash, shooting straight into the distance. The yellow-haired boy behind was completely shocked by Lin Feng's operation. He was distracted and the Porsche 911 almost hit the guardrail on the side of the road and fell towards the cliff. Squeak. Squeak. The sound of the tires rubbing against the ground was extremely harsh. At the last moment, the Porsche 911 stopped fiercely. The yellow-haired boy in the car was terrified and felt a little scared. This lunatic. The yellow-haired boy murmured. At this time, Lin Feng had passed 5 corners in a row, and the Ferrari 488 was still rushing forward, leaving only a cloud of dust on the spot. At this time, the yellow-haired boy couldn't even see the taillights of Lin Feng's Ferrari 488. Zhang Yuxi, who was sitting in the passenger seat, was terrified at first, but now she was numb and no longer afraid. She looked at the scenery outside the car window, which was rapidly receding. She even felt a little excited. It was so exciting. Soon, the foot of King Cheng Mountain was in front of her. Lin Feng lifted his foot gently, and the car began to slow down. The Ferrari slowly stopped at the roadside at the foot of the mountain. Lin Feng opened the car window, and the breeze from the mountains passed through the window. Zhang Yuxi exhaled deeply. Huh? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's slightly pale face, and felt distressed. Yuxi, are you okay? Yep, I'm fine. But it's so exciting. My heart is still beating fast. Except for being a little scared at the beginning, it's so exciting after I got used to it. It's more exciting than riding the pendulum before. It's so cool. Zhang Yuxi's beautiful little face, which was a little pale, showed a little excitement. She said excitedly. Oh, if it were anyone else, they would probably get out of the car and vomit. As a result, this silly girl actually felt excited and stimulated. She didn't expect that Zhang Yuxi's pure and innocent appearance actually hid such a wild heart. Chapter 872, A Rich Second Generation. Roadside. Lin Feng opened the car door, and the two stood in front of the guardrail, looking at the brightly lit city not far away. The tension and excitement in my heart just now gradually calmed down. After a few minutes, Zhang Yuxi's originally pale face began to recover its rosy color, and her beautiful face still showed an irrepressible excitement, which made people think about it. At this time, the modified Porsche 911 of the yellow-haired boy also appeared not far away. Squeak. The Porsche 911 drifted smoothly and stopped steadily. The yellow-haired boy walked towards the two. As soon as he approached, the yellow-haired boy couldn't control his excitement and said, "Brother, awesome. I have never seen anyone so crazy passing 5 consecutive bends at a high speed. I surrender. I surrender. Brother, big brother, you will be my big brother in the future." At this time, Lin Feng just smiled and didn't say anything. He has master-level car driving skills, far beyond the level of professional racing drivers. If he can't even beat the yellow-haired boy, then he's really a loser. Zhang Yuxi saw that the yellow-haired boy was not as arrogant as before, and her dislike for him was reduced a little. After all, you should not hide a smiling person. Then the yellow-haired boy spoke. Let me introduce myself formally. My name is Li Yangwei. Li Yangwei. Oh. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were speechless. And the yellow-haired boy, Li Yangwei, saw that their expressions were a little strange, and knew what they were thinking. He smiled helplessly and said, "There is no way. My old man is not well educated, so I gave him this name. I am also helpless." Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi knew that they had lost their composure, and they quickly restrained themselves. Lin Feng straightened his face and stretched out his right hand. "Hello, my name is Lin Feng, and she is my girlfriend, Zhang Yuxi. Hello, brother Feng. Hello, sister Yuxi." Li Yangwei also stretched out his right hand and shook hands with Lin Feng, saying politely. He was really impressed by Lin Feng's driving skills. Those professional racing drivers he knew were probably inferior to Lin Feng. "Brother Feng, What do you do for a living? Liang Wei thought Lin Feng wouldn't be a professional racing driver, so he asked with some curiosity. Oh, I'm a senior in Shanghai No. 3 middle school, and so is my girlfriend. Well, she's preparing for the college entrance examination soon. Lin Feng said casually. Liang Wei was instantly shocked after hearing this. Oh my god. Brother Feng, you're so good at just being a hobby. I'm convinced. I'm completely convinced. Awesome. Liang Wei said with admiration. Your driving skills are also very good. Lin Feng also said. Indeed, to be honest, Liang Wei's driving skills can barely reach the level of an ordinary professional racing driver. No, compared to Brother Feng, my level is just embarrassing. Liang Wei waved his hand and said modestly. How dare he be arrogant in front of the great god Lin Feng? Brother Yang Wei, are you also a student? I see you're quite young, but the way you dress. Lin Feng hesitated. Well, I'm in Shanghai No. 1 middle school. I'm a sophomore, so I should be your junior. It's just that I don't like studying very much, I like racing, so I've been tinkering with these. As for my outfit, well, it's just to make myself look cooler, Liang Wei said a little embarrassed. Ha. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at Liang Wei's embarrassment and couldn't help laughing. The few of them chatted for a while in the night breeze. It turned out that Liang Wei was the son of the CEO of a real estate company in Shanghai. Well, a rich second generation. Although he is a little arrogant, it can be seen from the chat that this person is not bad at heart. After chatting for a while, Lin Feng saw that it was getting late, so he apologized, and then the two of them left their contact information and drove away. When leaving, Liang Wei also enthusiastically asked Lin Feng to have dinner together another day. Lin Feng slowly drove towards the direction of Zhang Yuxi's community. Lin Feng. Li. When Liang Wei is not arrogant, he is not that annoying. Zhang Yuxi still feels resentful about Liang Wei's arrogant scolding of Lin Feng. Lin Feng was moved by Zhang Yuxi's protective look. He couldn't help laughing at her cute look. Ha. Well, although he is a rich second generation and a little arrogant, he is not a bad person. Just treat him as a friend you met by chance. You may not meet again in the future, so don't think too much. Lin Feng said softly. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded and said nothing more. Lin Feng accelerated and soon returned to the community where Zhang Yuxi lived. Zhang Yuxi quickly kissed Lin Feng on the face and ran away. Haha, this girl. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's disappearing back and smiled helplessly. He was attacked by surprise. It was already 12:30 in the morning when Lin Feng returned home. Catcha. Lin Feng just opened the door and saw the TV screen in the hall was playing, and the TV volume was turned down. His father Lin Dashan was sleeping on the sofa. Lin Feng walked over gently, afraid of waking up his father Lin Dashan. Huh? Brat, you're back. Lin Dashan woke up, sat up and rubbed his eyes and said. Oh, Dad, I woke you up. Lin Feng said a little embarrassed. Well, your mother asked me to wait for you, afraid that you didn't bring the key. I watched TV and waited for you, but I didn't expect to fall asleep. Alice, I can't refuse to admit my age. Lin Dashan sighed. Dad, you don't have to wait for me. There's something at school tonight, so I came back late. Lin Feng said with some guilt. He didn't expect that his father, who usually doesn't say it, actually cares about him. Well, you should wash up and go to bed quickly. It's very late. Lin Dashan waved his hand and said. Okay, Dad, go back to your room and sleep. It's easy to catch a cold outside. Lin Feng said with concern. After that, he went back to the room to get clothes and wash up. Lin Dashan also turned off the TV and went back to the room to sleep. After Lin Feng quickly washed up, he lay on the bed. Recalling the madness of tonight, Lin Feng laughed at himself. It's better to do less of this kind of racing in the future. It's not that I don't believe in the master-level car driving skills given by the system. After all, this thing is operated by myself. It's better to be safe than sorry. If something really happens, it will be the end. Besides, I just have a great youth, and a wonderful life is waiting for me. Why take risks? It's still a little impulsive. After rebirth, I have completely integrated into the current world, and even my thoughts and behaviors have become the same as those of an 18-year-old boy. Is this a sequelae of rebirth? Lin Feng has no way of knowing. Well, childish is childish, and young people are not called young people without some passion. Let yourself live this life well. As Lin Feng was thinking, He fell asleep and soon entered into dreamland. Chapter 873, Acting Bravely. The next day, before it was completely light, Lin Feng opened his eyes and got up from the bed. Last night, he had a nightmare. He dreamed that he had an accident while racing and fell off a cliff with his car. When he woke up, he found that it was all a dream. It was really scary. Lin Feng calmed down his thoughts and looked out the window. It was still dark. He picked up the phone on the bedside table and took a look. He found that it was only 5:30 in the morning. Forget it, Lin Feng didn't dare to continue sleeping. He planned to get up and wash up. Lin Feng got up, washed up and dressed. Soon, the sky outside began to brighten. Lin Feng looked at the time. It was 6 o'clock, so he carried his school bag and went out. Lin Feng walked slowly on the road. Because it was still early, there were very few pedestrians on the road. The city's sanitation guardians, sanitation workers, were cleaning every corner of the city carefully, allowing him to greet the new day with a clean appearance. Because the magic city is surrounded by mountains and is wrapped by the entire Qingchang Mountains, the city has good greening and the air is cleaner than other cities. Lin Feng slowed down his pace, breathing in the fresh morning air and feeling the first rays of sunshine in the morning. It's so good to be alive. Lin Feng walked and stopped, enjoying the rare quiet time. When he walked to the breakfast shop near the school, it was almost 7 o'clock. It was still the same noodle stall, the same boss, and the same corner. Lin Feng ordered 2 bowls of noodles and waited quietly for Zhang Yuxi to arrive. Soon, Zhang Yuxi appeared at the corner of the street. She saw Lin Feng from a distance, with a sweet smile on her face, and Lin Feng also saw her, with a faint smile on his face. The tacit understanding between the two was self-evident at this moment. Zhang Yuxi approached and sat down. The two ate breakfast quietly. No one wanted to speak to break this unusually warm tranquility. But unexpectedly, the boss spoke. You two are really in love. You eat breakfast together on time every day. I, an uncle, feel sick of watching you. Tisk 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 tisk. Pudgy. The two couldn't help but smile at each other. Soon, after finishing breakfast, the two went back to the classroom. Horizontal ellipsis. On the blackboard. The days until the college entrance examination are constantly updated. At this time, there are only 3 days left. In addition to Lin Feng. Of course, there is also the old Jiang Anmin who is happily reading a novel. The students in the class are all nervously doing the questions, making the final sprint for the college entrance examination. Ding ling ling. At this time, the class bell rang. The head teacher He Song walked into the classroom with a textbook. He Song clapped his hands, and everyone looked over and saw He Song speaking. Classmates, today is June 3rd, and there are less than 3 days left before the college entrance examination. From today on, the end time of the evening self-study get out of class is adjusted to 9 o'clock. Everyone should go home early after class in the evening, ensure sufficient sleep, and welcome the college entrance examination with the most full mental state. Oh. Everyone just said oh. This adjustment of the evening self-study time has become commonplace, because it has been the same for every college entrance examination. Lin Feng thought to himself that Zhang Yuxi probably wouldn't be willing to leave so early at night, so he would go back at noon and drive the car over, so that he could send her home quickly in the evening. It would be too late as usual. So after class at noon, Lin Feng sent a message to Zhang Yuxi, then went out of the school gate, took a taxi, and went home. After returning home, Lin Feng found a few slices of bread and a bottle of milk in the refrigerator, and simply dealt with them as lunch. After lying on the sofa to rest for a while, Lin Feng got up and prepared to go to the parking lot to drive. The reason why he got up so early and didn't wait until the class was about to start was because there were too many people on the road when the class was about to start, and he didn't want to attract other people's attention. Bang! After closing the door, Lin Feng took the elevator down to the underground parking lot. Lin Feng's Ferrari 488 was still parked there quietly. Lin Feng opened the car door. Started the engine. Boom. The Ferrari 488 took off instantly and quickly drove out of the parking lot. Lin Feng slowed down and drove towards the school. Huh? Lin Feng suddenly saw a pregnant woman lying on the side of the road not far away, leaning against a guardrail with a painful look on her face, and a pool of blood on the ground. There were many pedestrians around. Some of them tried to avoid the woman, some pointed and talked, but no one seemed to want to help. Lin Feng didn't have time to think too much. He stepped on the accelerator, drove the car to the side of the pregnant woman, and hurriedly got out of the car and walked over. "Help me. Save my child." The pregnant woman was already in pain and said weakly. Human life was at stake. Lin Feng didn't have time to think too much. He picked up the pregnant woman, carried her to his car, helped her fasten her seat belt, stepped on the accelerator to the bottom, and the car sped away. Seeing the pregnant woman in the passenger seat getting weaker and weaker, Lin Feng couldn't care less, and used his master-level car driving skills, constantly shuttling between vehicles along the way, and didn't even have time to wait for the red light. After running through countless red lights along the way, Lin Feng finally arrived at the Magic City People's Hospital. Squeak. Lin Feng stopped the car, picked up the pregnant woman and ran to the hospital lobby. "Doctor. Doctor. There's a pregnant woman here who needs emergency treatment." Lin Feng shouted anxiously with sweat all over his forehead. Soon, doctors and nurses came running over with a stretcher, and the pregnant woman was quickly sent to the operating room. Lin Feng followed and waited outside the operating room. About half an hour later, the door of the operating room opened. The doctor came out and looked at Lin Feng and said coldly, "You family members are too careless. Fortunately, you sent her here in time, otherwise both the adult and the child would be in danger. The patient will give birth in the next 2 days at the latest. You go to pay the fees and go through the hospitalization procedures." "Huh?" Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. As for the doctor's words, Lin Feng didn't care. After all, he was not a real family member. After Lin Feng paid the fees and went through the hospitalization procedures, he said to the nurse, "When the pregnant woman wakes up, ask her to notify her family to come over. I have something to do and I'm leaving first." "Ah, aren't you a family member of the patient?" Lin Feng smiled, said nothing more, and turned away. Lin Feng saw that his clothes were stained with blood, so he went to the nearby mall to buy a set of clothes to change into and went back to school. What Lin Feng didn't know was that he was photographed by passers-by when he saved someone. The video was posted on Douyin, attracting the attention and discussion of many netizens. Soon, the video of a mysterious rich second generation rescuing a pregnant woman on the street spread across major online platforms. Even Shanghai TV reported the news of Lin Feng's mysterious rich second generation rescuing a pregnant woman on the street. Lin Feng was unaware of all this, and he went back to school as usual. He sent Zhang Yuxi home at 9:30 in the evening. Horizontal ellipsis. Chapter 874 Showdown with Parents. In the evening, after dinner, Lin Dashan sat on the sofa, picking his toes to turn on the TV. Watching the replay of the Magic City Today news was his habit every night. When the TV broadcast the news that a mysterious rich second generation rescued a pregnant woman on the street, Lin Dashan felt that the Ferrari of this rich second generation looked familiar. "Huh? Isn't this car the one in the underground parking lot of my community? I saw it a few days ago." Then the scene turned, and the side face of the mysterious rich second generation who was saving people appeared in the video. "Fuck. Wife, come and see." Lin Dashan shouted to Joe Killen, who was washing dishes in the kitchen. Joe Killen wiped her hands and came out of the kitchen, rolled her eyes at Lin Dashan. "You are so old, and you are still so startled. Wife, come and see, is this mysterious rich second generation the stinky boy in our family?" Lin Dashan said hurriedly. "Hey, it really is." Joe Killen came over and took a look. "Oh my god, when did this guy learn to drive? And this car is worth millions, where did he get it?" Lin Dashan and Joe Killen looked at each other and said. The two were a little stunned. "Catcha." Just then Lin Feng came back. Seeing the two of them were there. "Dad, Mom, I'm back," Lin Feng said casually. "Son, did you save a pregnant woman this afternoon?" Joe Killen asked. "Hey," Lin Feng was a little confused about how his mother knew. At this time, Lin Feng glanced at the TV, and the news of the mysterious rich second generation rescuing a pregnant woman on the street was replayed on TV. Lin Feng looked up and saw that the two were staring at him, so he slowly spoke. "Dad, Mom, I won't pretend anymore, I'm going to show my cards. The person who rescued the pregnant woman in the news was indeed me, but I'm not a mysterious rich second generation, because my dad didn't make me a rich second generation." Lin Feng said and glanced at Lin Dashan cautiously. "You kid, stop making jokes. Tell me, what's the matter with that car? Also, when did you learn to drive?" Lin Dashan glared at Lin Feng and said seriously. Well, it's a long story," Lin Feng said hesitantly. "Then tell me slowly. We have plenty of time." I want to see what you can say. Lin Dashan didn't give Lin Feng a chance to get away with it. Dad, Mom, let's sit down first. You two are standing there staring at me. I'm a little panicked. Lin Feng said embarrassedly. After the three of them sat down, Lin Feng looked at the solemn expressions on their faces, and then he straightened his face and said, Dad, Mom, actually it's like this. Do you remember the advertising plan I made for Dad? That old Chen? Didn't Uncle Chen say that my level is master level? Lin Dashan and his wife both nodded. Lin Feng continued, well, I helped others with some advertising plans before, and earned some money to buy it. Oh, so that's how it is. Joe Killen nodded with a look of sudden enlightenment. Huh? No. That car is worth several million. Ferrari 488, don't think that I don't know cars. Lin Dashan said with a look of doubt. What? So expensive? Joe Killen jumped up instantly and shouted loudly. Well, Mom, it's not that expensive, just 4 or 5 million. Lin Feng said weakly. Lin Dashan. Joe Killen. No, you little brat, explain it clearly. Lin Dashan glared at him, this kid is not honest. Dad, that's how you make money. To make millions, isn't it enough to have hands? Lin Feng said casually. Lin Dashan. Just having hands. Then how many people would be considered disabled? My son, he is so Versailles. Lin Dashan muttered to himself. Lin Feng continued. As for the driving test, I took it on weekends and after school when I just turned 18. You two didn't have time to take care of me, so you didn't know. Oh, by the way, I have more than that. I still have more than 1 million in my bank account now. Also, I invested in a company, and I expect to get about 5 or 6 million in dividends every year. Lin Feng took the opportunity to find a reason to let them know that the wealth he now has is not comparable to that of ordinary people. At this time, Lin Dashan and Joe Killen were completely shocked and speechless. So you, little brat, are now worth more than me. Lin Dashan said with some jealousy. He has worked hard for most of his life, and his son has surpassed him in such a short time. This is simply unbelievable. His son became a millionaire just like that? Question mark. Yes, Dad, so the report is not true. I am not a rich second generation. Lin Feng said lightly. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Dashan looked at him with some resentment. Do you mean you dislike me for not letting you be a rich second generation? No, Dad, how dare I? Lin Feng waved his hands and said, how dare he? He was afraid of being beaten. Son, although you are rich now, but the college entrance examination is coming soon, you still have to take it seriously and get into a good university. Otherwise, even if you are rich in the future, people will think you are just a nouveau riche, understand? Joe Killen looked at her son seriously and said with a serious face. Lin Feng knew that his mother was doing this for his own good, so he was not impatient. He said patiently. Mom, don't worry, I haven't fallen behind in my studies. I got the first place in the city's senior high school entrance examination a few days ago. If you don't believe me, ask my dad. Huh? Joe Killen turned to look at Lin Dashan, who didn't know about such a big thing. Huh? Lin Dashan nodded helplessly. His son has really been giving people surprises during this period. No, it's a shock. When did this brat become so outstanding? Did he really not care enough about his son? Lin Dashan thought with some guilt. Dad, Mom, I'm going to take a shower first. Lin Feng looked at the two people in silence and spoke. It is also necessary to give them some time to digest it. After all, this matter is really too scary. Oh, by the way, Dad, there are 3 days before the college entrance examination. I suggest you quit drinking from now on, otherwise it will be so sudden that I'm afraid you will feel uncomfortable. Lin Feng took 2 steps and suddenly turned back to Lin Dashan. After speaking, Lin Feng hurriedly slipped away. He was afraid that Lin Dashan would beat him. Lin Dashan. After washing and drying his hair, Lin Feng went to bed. He lay on the bed with a sigh. Originally, he wanted to find a chance to explain all this to his parents after the college entrance examination, but he didn't expect that they would find out because of saving people today. But it's okay. After rationalizing the income and car issues, he won't have to be so sneaky and passive in the future. Chapter 875, Let Her Spoil You. Nothing happened at night. The next day, at 6 in the morning, Lin Feng got up early as usual. After washing up, he drove his Ferrari out, not to show off, but mainly to send Zhang Yuxi home quickly in the evening. After all, The college entrance examination was just around the corner. After Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi had breakfast, they returned to the classroom. As soon as Lin Feng entered the classroom, he felt the tense and heavy atmosphere of the college entrance examination. Looking at the words on the blackboard that there were only 2 days left before the college entrance examination, it seemed more dazzling than yesterday. Everyone was busy reviewing and making the final sprint. In such an atmosphere, Lin Feng's little heart couldn't help but get excited. The college entrance examination. What a long time ago. It's still a little exciting to think about it. In the previous life, Lin Feng went to work part-time in a bar after the college entrance examination, so he met Zhang Yuxi. But in this life, he met Zhang Yuxi when she was in high school. With the assistance of the system, everything is developing in a good direction. With his current grades, it is naturally impossible to follow the life trajectory of the previous life. In this life's college entrance examination, Lin Feng wants everyone to cheer for him. And his life will become completely different from before. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, half a day was about to pass. Lin Feng then remembered that he was in a hurry to save people yesterday and ran through countless red lights along the way. He had to deal with it while he had time at noon. Otherwise, Lin Feng was afraid that the car would be stopped by the traffic police at any time on the road. Ding-ling-ling. The school bell rang at noon, and Lin Feng went to pick up Zhang Yuxi. There was no way. Lin Feng had left her at noon several times. Zhang Yuxi already had an opinion, saying that he was doing something and couldn't take her with him. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to a restaurant near the school. After a meal, he went to the parking lot to pick up the car, stepped on the accelerator, and headed towards the vehicle management office. 20 minutes later. Squeak. Lin Feng parked the car steadily in front of the vehicle management office. Looking around, the vehicle management office was packed with people. I didn't expect that there were still so many people at this time. After Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi went in to get their tickets, they waited in line for half an hour before it was their turn. Hello. I'm here to handle the traffic violation procedures. Lin Feng said politely to the staff at the window. Show me your driver's license and vehicle registration certificate. The female staff at the window said in a cold tone and arrogantly. Oh. Lin Feng was frustrated and felt unhappy, but he didn't say much. The people in these departments have almost the same attitude, which is extremely arrogant. Lin Feng was too lazy to argue with them, so he quickly finished the process and left. When Lin Feng was about to take out his driver's license and vehicle registration documents, he saw the staff member impatiently. Are you going to do it or not? If not, just go away. Your procrastination affects my lunch. I'm going to get off work. After hearing this, Lin Feng was furious. Lin Feng slammed his driver's license on the counter. Oh, you're still standing up to me. You can go now. I won't handle your business here. The woman saw that Lin Feng was dressed in ordinary clothes and didn't have much money. She said with disdain, and pushed the sign of suspended service in front of Lin Feng. Why are you like this? We have worked hard to line up for half an hour. Why don't you let us handle business? Zhang Yuxi couldn't help it, walked up, and said angrily. Lin Feng looked at the female staff member with a frosty face and said indifferently. You eat taxpayers' money and do things like this. Call your leader out. The movement here attracted the attention of the people around. But when they saw that it was the female staff member, they fell silent. There was no way to have a relative who was the director and was the leader in the vehicle management office. She was arrogant and domineering all day long. No one wanted to touch her brow. You still call my leader out? Who do you think you are? The woman looked at Lin Feng with disgust. At this moment, a modified Porsche 911 passed by the vehicle management office. Huh? Isn't this Brother Feng's car? The person in the car said in surprise. That's right, this person is the yellow-haired boy who raced with Lin Feng on Qingchang Mountain that night, Li Yangwei. Li Yangwei slowly backed the car and stopped next to Lin Feng's Ferrari 488. Li Yangwei opened the car door and got out. At this time, he also heard the quarrel coming from the vehicle management office. He walked in slowly and just saw the scene where the female staff member pointed at Lin Feng's nose and asked, "Who are you?" Not to mention Lin Feng, he instantly got angry. He rushed forward with a bad temper and slapped the female staff member in the face. The female staff member was stunned by Li Yangwei's sudden slap. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were also stunned. Brother Feng, hello, sister-in-law Yuxi. This gossip is too annoying, I can't stand it. She spoiled me. Li Yangwei turned to Lin Feng and said. Lin Feng was confused by Li Yangwei's sudden intrusion. Brother Yangwei, why are you here? Lin Feng asked with a puzzled look. Oh, I just happened to drive by here and saw your car parked on the side of the road, so I wanted to come over and say hello. I didn't expect to see this bitch spraying people there. I couldn't help it for a moment. Li Yangwei said angrily. Oh, what a coincidence, Lin Feng smiled helplessly. At this time, the female staff member of the vehicle management office also came back to her senses. She pointed at Li Yangwei with a trembling finger and shouted loudly. You are the bitch, your whole family is too. You dare to hit me, I will never let you go. Li Yangwei exploded again when he heard this. Gossip, say it again, do you believe I will beat you to death? He was about to rush forward to beat her. Oh, Lin Feng was very upset. This Li Yangwei's temper was really hot. He quickly pulled him back. He was afraid that Li Yangwei would beat the woman to death. Brother Yangwei, calm down, don't argue with this kind of woman. Come on. Come on. Come on. If you have the guts, fuck me to death, otherwise you will be a grandson. The woman was still shouting wildly. Li Yangwei calmed down at this time. He looked at the fat and bloated figure of the woman with a look of disgust. Scared. Wishful thinking. Oh, Lin Feng was speechless. At this time, Li Yangwei was still thinking about driving. Brother Feng, what's going on? How did you provoke this crazy woman? Li Yangwei looked up and asked Lin Feng. Oh, this is what happened. Lin Feng told Li Yangwei what happened. After listening, Li Yangwei instantly became angry again. Brother Feng, you are just good-tempered. If it were me, I would definitely destroy this place. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.